What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Schneid. It's a big one. The combine starts tomorrow. Interviews are happening. That's all good. We're seeing a lot of coach speak stuff, a lot of GM interviews, all that kind of stuff. News is coming out. More Matt Stafford stuff. We're hearing, Matt Stafford and Tom Brady just so happened to have a place together at the same ski resort in Montana at the same time, and they're both there. It's a little ridiculous. Clearly, that was planned. I'm very confident that maybe they do. Maybe they do both own a small place at a ski resort, and they both were there randomly. Highly unlikely they were there randomly, but they probably knew that they had a place there. Let's go out on the same weekend and just happen to run into each other and chat shit about football and about your future and blah blah blah. So honestly, I'm sure that's where a lot of the a lot of the rumor mill has stemmed from, and obviously now it's been brought to light, and now they're walking it back, saying, "Oh, it was just a happenstance, meeting, and oh, hey Matt, hey, yeah, where are you? Yeah, oh, what's going on? No big deal. Let's take a couple rips down the hill together, and that's that." Highly doubt that's how it went, but regardless, it's interesting. It's kind of funny how that works. But a couple shout outs. We got Stephen Haynes. First, slap the like. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, that is a good omen. That's proven. That's a fact. If you're the first to like the OTS stream, that is a good omen for the fantasy gods, and they will you will have some favor with them. Terrence, Mr. Mufasa, what's happening? Good to see you. So let's get into this. First things first, we're going to rip through the rookie rankings. I've said before, I'll say again, and you will see them in a few minutes here. It's very, very much not consensus. And that's not because I'm trying to be different. It's because I'm not bending to the group think. I don't really care what anyone thinks. These are my rankings. This is what I see. I'm sticking to it, and I draft as such. So I will, once I show my exposures on the next stream that we do, you'll see that I'm not just talking out of my ass. This is what I'm doing, and I do believe it. And I'm putting my money where my mouth is. So let's get it started right. We got a little Bam Fab Black Pilsner. I had a couple more in my fridge, so we're gonna run that one for tonight. And then we'll get into these rankings. So I'm going to start at quarterback because it's less fun. There's only so much. It's nothing crazy this year, in my opinion. So let's dig into it. Pull them up. So these are my spreadsheets. This is what I do every year. When I watch tape, I take notes. I haven't finished the quarterbacks, but I don't think I'm going to go too far if I'm being honest. I'm pretty set. I don't have my rankings done. This is what it is. But if I had to do it right now, it would probably be Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, probably Will Howard, Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, McCord. I don't know, something like that. Realistically, I've said it tons. And again, I reflected it with my drafting. I'll say it again. I don't think any of these guys are ready to start an NFL game. I don't think any of these quarterbacks are ready to step into an NFL field with an NFL team behind an NFL offensive line, NFL offensive coordinators, NFL language. I don't think any of them could step in and start an NFL game right now comfortably, my opinion. Looks like Cam Ward might. Shadur Sanders might have the most real upside. I do like what he can do. He's just got to learn the position a little bit more and just get a little more comfortable. And honestly, I feel like he's just got to trust his offensive line a little bit more. Maybe that'll come in the NFL. We'll see. But I really hope if Shadur Sanders can sit for a full season, I think he'll have a shot. I really do. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Will Howard, yeah, my guy. If I had to start a game right now, if I had to throw one of these quarterbacks out right now in an NFL game, it would be Will Howard. The second guy might be Kyle McCord. If, in all honesty, that might sound a little weird, but if I had to start a game right this second, Will Howard, maybe Kyle McCord, Cam Ward would be in that conversation as well. But not Shooter Sanders, not Jackson Dart. I mean, looking at PFF's ranking of Shooter Sanders, he's like 45. I really don't think he's going to be going first or second or third or fourth or fifth for sure. I think if you're the Raiders and you want Shedeur Sanders, I think you can sit there at 6. And if someone takes him, someone takes him. Not the end of the world. Honestly, I don't think it would be the end of the world of the Raiders. I don't think it's worth trading any assets to get there, when I think this is, even though I'm very much against consensus most of the time, I do agree with the consensus that if he was thrown into the quarterback rankings from last season, he would be the 7th or 8th, ranked quarterback in that draft class last year. So would he be a top 3 pick last year? Not a chance in the world, right? Not a chance in this or any other universe would he be a top 10 pick. So if you're the Raiders and you're sitting there at 6 and you want Shedeur Sanders, I don't think you have to move. I don't think you should. I wouldn't. I would sit there and dare. If someone else wants to, go nuts. Go ahead. We'll sit here and we'll pick them. You could maybe even trade down. But regardless, that's probably how it would look. If there's one, not if there is only one, in my opinion, there's only one lottery ticket in this entire draft at quarterback. There's only one. One of these quarterbacks is a lottery ticket where it could be an absolute zero, rip up the ticket, throw it away. He's nothing, doesn't work, it's not going to happen. Or he wins you, the jackpot, $50 million, whatever it is. In the chat, who do you think that is? Which one of these quarterbacks is the absolute lottery ticket? Fantasy Football Garage, what's happening? Chris the Candyman. We got Ben Haskell. What's happening? Good to see you. So for me, the only lottery ticket in this entire draft is Jalen Milroe. He's the only guy that, you could see what I've written here. Very athletic, never under center, obviously. Small hands. Basically, he's a running back that can throw. I think I comped him to Tim Tebow a little bit. So his 40 time, what's his betting line? 4.38, I think, was his betting line, which seems accurate, and that'll be tough to go over or under, really. But that's the only real lottery ticket in this entire draft that you could throw like a 3rd round pick at. And maybe he's, at some point in his career, like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, dual threat type of guys, Lamar Jackson type of a guy. That's the only guy that you could say is that. The rest of these guys, most likely, if I'm being honest, the most likely scenario for Quinn Ewers, Will Howard, Riley Leonard, Tyler Shuck, Kyle McCord, Seth Hennigan, maybe. These are all backup quarterbacks, almost for sure, most likely. Then maybe you'll find some, if, Will Howard ends up being a guy, I would love to see that. But realistically, it's a bunch of backup quarterbacks. Shedeur, Cam Ward, and Jackson Dart are the 3 most likely kind of guys that teams will draft as their future at quarterback. Not this season, but next season. Hopefully that's their future franchise quarterback, right? Jalen Milroe is your complete wild card. And then, Will Howard, Kyle McCord, Tyler Shuck are kind of your maybe he can be a starter. At the very least, he's our backup, that sort of a thing. So that's where I'm at with quarterback. It's a weird position this year, and it's really, really soft. It's really light. Everybody knows that. And it is what it is. I'm gonna stay where I'm at with these quarterbacks. I'll probably rank them once I finish watching tape on everybody. I really, really don't like Quinn Ewers. Dylan Gabriel's just too small. Riley Leonard just runs way too much. Not enough of a passer there. Tyler Shuck can't seem to stay healthy. The age is fine for me. The age is what it is. Look at Baker Mayfield. He didn't really become a franchise quarterback until his 4th team and 29 years old, right? I'm not worried about Tyler Shuck's age. It's more the injury concern, and there's some other things there. DJ Uiagalelei, I don't think there's anything there. Regardless, he had to really excel in his final season, which he didn't. So there's nothing really there. Kyle McCord, I don't mind. Seth Hennigan, sure. That's how we're looking. So we're starting at quarterback. Let's move over to tight ends. I'm going to leave wide receivers and running backs till the end. Let's move over to tight end. Tyler Warren's my number one, and that's really not up for debate. That is obviously consensus, and I 100% agree. He's very, very, very good. He can do everything you need, everything you want. High school quarterback. He's got a little bit of rushing ability, which we saw. He can do those quarterback sneaks, right? Big boy who can move well, not easy to bring down. He's a complete tight end. I think I have him comped to George Kittle. Yeah, he's definitely a guy for me. Colston Loveland, I have higher than Harold Fannin because I really do think that Colston Loveland can get there. I think he just has more traits. Slippery, sells a high school wide receiver. He's just a big wide receiver. There's a couple guys like that in this draft that are very similar. Willing to learn, do some blocking, inline blocking. He's got to learn. We'll have a little to learn. Sorry. He's going to have to learn to block inline for sure. If he's going to be even that Kelsey type, I'm not comping him to Kelsey, but he's going to have to learn to block better if he's going to be comparable to Travis Kelsey in the NFL, if that makes sense. Harold Fannin, I do like a lot. Harold Fannin. I like a lot, only 20 years old. Former DB. He was a standout stud DB in high school. Probably high 4.5 speed, roughly. I'm not sure he's going to run or not. I think that's still up in the air. Big slot guy. He can block still. I don't think it's enough credit for how well he can block. And then he had half the passing production for Bowling Green last year, literally half, which is quite impressive to me, and really good route tree. I like Terrence Ferguson more than most, it seems. I don't see too much of a difference between Colston Loveland and Terrence Ferguson personally. Again, big kid who can moves well, sells his routes, big playability, good speed, good hands. Very similar to Colston Loveland for me. But just a little less kind of refined, mostly because Colston Loveland went to Michigan and Terrence Ferguson went to Oregon. So definitely a big fan of Terrence Ferguson, higher than most, I think. Elijah Arroyo, there's a little injury red flag on Arroyo towards the left ACL in September 2022, but he's got that big playability we saw with Cam Ward. Speed 4.6, roughly, good hands, can run all the routes. Blocking might be a concern. That's a lot of these tight ends this year for me, where blocking might be an issue, depending on who it is. And then you get to these more inline blocking, overall complete tight ends in the Mason Taylors and the Gunnar Helms of the world, whether you're more athletic inline blocking and pass catching, just complete tight ends. I have Mason Taylor over Helm. He's got that pedigree, being Jason Taylor's son, played as a true freshman, big play potential. I think he's just got a ton of room to grow still. So I like the upside of Mason Taylor over Gunnar Helm personally. I didn't see a lot of tape on Gunnar Helm's blocking, which is getting harder and harder to find online, the actual blocking tape, like pass blocking reps for running backs and tight ends. But just a little more upside for me with Mason Taylor. And then Jake Brennenstuhl, just another guy that's very much like Terrence Ferguson, Colston Loveland. You could even say Elijah Arroyo, big kid, moves well. He was the number 3 tight end in the nation when was out of high school, when he was being recruited. Nice hands, might struggle while blocking. He's just a big bodied wide receiver. Realistically, he was a pretty small kid. He, weighed 200 pounds as a high school junior. Now he's up to about that 240 where you like your tight ends to be. As far as comps, George Kittle for Tyler Warren, Mike Gesicki for Colston Loveland, and Johnny Smith for Harold Fannin are my comps. Those are the only comps I have realistically. I mean, you could say Mike Gesicki for Terrence Ferguson, for Jake Brennenstuhl as well. Just those bigger body guys, very athletic, might struggle with blocking, especially inline blocking. So we'll see how that shakes out. I haven't done 9 and 10 yet. Not that it's a huge concern realistically, but it would most likely be these two. Mata Matavau. Mataval from UCLA and Gadsden from Syracuse would most likely be my 9 and 10. Although Jalen Conyers could have been that guy. I did watch tape on him, and I like what I saw. High school quarterback, very highly recruited. He just, in my opinion, he took the wrong path getting through university, where he transferred. I can't remember where he played before Texas Tech, but transferred from that school to Texas Tech. He could have just went to some of these better schools right off the hop, and I think he would have had a much more productive college career. But it is what it is. That's kind of how I got my top 8 shaking out, and most likely 9 and 10. But CJ Dupree, I think he can play as well. He had a good Senior Bowl. He looked good in the Jalen Milroe tape that I watched. Conyers is there as well, but yeah, realistically, it's these guys for now, and I'm not super concerned about any other tight end realistically. So, led all receivers. Yeah, he led the nation in receiving yards. So as a tight end, which is exceptional and insane and rare, and it was awesome. And he held up in games like the Penn State. Throw on the Penn State tape if you want to be impressed, or you want to see what Harold Fanning could be. Go watch the Penn State tape, against a high quality opponent, a college football playoff semifinalist team. And he kind of dominated those guys. So yeah, I like Fanning. It was that Penn State tape that really, really kind of opened my eyes and said, okay, this can be that guy for sure. So let's go to running backs, because a lot of people have already seen. I think I got to 5 or something. I did show these earlier, and there's definitely some surprises here. So let's jump into running backs. First and foremost, you'll see it. Trevion Henderson is my number 1. Yes. Over Ashton Genty. Yes. I think this is something that we're going to look back on in 3 years. And I hope I'm right. I'm very confident that if we look at these two in 3 years from now, this is what we're going to have it like. Well, maybe not. Sorry. Henderson over Genty, I think, is what we're going to have it as. We'll see. And I could be wrong on that. I'm just very, 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 very concerned about the amount of touches for Ashton Genty. He's not a big body running back. He's not a big kid. He's 5'9", maybe. We'll see what he weighs or what he measures in at, right? Let's say he comes in at 5'8", 205. We really think that him having 400 touches last year is a good thing? I don't. Even if he comes in at what he's listed at, 5'9", 209, whatever it is, something like that, that's concerning to have that many touches on that body. And then he's going to come into the NFL. I'm not saying he's not going to have a good NFL career, and he might outpace Henderson in his first year, especially depending on the landing spot. But I think in 3 years, we're going to look back on this. And I like Trevion Henderson longer term. So there you go. I have Caleb over Omarion Hampton. That was really close. Really, really close for me. I think the only thing that separated the two was the kind of long breakaway speed is kind of the only difference realistically. We'll see. Pick your poison there, and realistically pick your poison with any of these 4. I think it is pretty consensus that these are the top 4 for the most part, which I'm fine with that. Rank them how you want. I'm drafting all of them except for Genty, unless he starts to fall back for me. I would need to be getting him in the 20s personally, ADP wise, to be drafting Ashton Genty, which again, I'll show all my exposures and you'll see a big fat 0 under Ashton Genty's name as it sits right now. And I'm way overweight on Henderson. I need to pick up some more Caleb and Hampton shares. That's for sure. It's just, I've been drafting more Henderson because I have him ranked higher. So there you go. Devin Neal is my number 5. Definitely just a little more completeness to his game, in my opinion, over Judkins. Although it's really close. Again, this is super close. Some people just like Neal more than others. Realistically, I've seen Devin Neal not be in people's top 10. I've seen him down at 8 and 9. That's fair. I understand. Some people have him in their top 3, which is a little aggressive as well. So, Devin Neal is a little bit polarizing, but I do like him a lot. I just think these are the top 4, and I really don't think there's going to be any movement there. But we'll see. Judkins, I like a lot. Ollie Gordon, number 7. Yeah, you can see my notes. I don't think you need me to read through everything, but you can see my notes there. Met with the Steelers at the combine. If you know, that's my pick for where Ollie Gordon goes, is to the Steelers. Replaces Najee Harris. So we'll see. He did meet with the Steelers at the combine, so that's encouraging. And we know that Tomlin always has a pretty good presence at the Senior Bowl, where Ollie Gordon looked very, very good and threw a touchdown pass, actually, which is wild, but there you go. So that's what gave me the nod over Cam Scatterbo. I was tweeting about it during the Senior Bowl. Cam Scatterbo sat out the Senior Bowl because Arizona State went further in the college football playoffs than people thought that they would. So, and he got ran into the ground a little bit, but he's a big body kid. He can kind of take it. He's got that dog in him, as you see here. But that's what made me put Ollie Gordon over Cam Scatterbo, was that Senior Bowl kind of presence that he had and the production and just, how it looked. So that's how I landed on that. Bashal Tutin, I'm higher on than most. I have him in my top 10, sitting there at 9, obviously. We'll see what he runs. I think he's about 4.3 speed and slippery, as you can see there. He can return kicks as well. Gone if he gets to the second level. Home run hitter. If you don't get your hands on this guy at the linebacker level, he's taking it to the crib, and that's it. So and it's going to translate to the NFL. So I'm a big Bashal Tutin guy. And then for 10, it was, it started as Jarquez Hunter, but the more I got into Damian Martinez, like, you could put Damian Martinez up with Scatterbo and Ollie Gordon realistically if you want. I like him a lot. So I ended up putting Damian Martinez over Jarquez Hunter, who I do really like a lot. He's the pound for pound champ. Watch his tape and you'll understand what I'm talking about. And then Dylan Sampson too. I was worried about his pass pro when I watched tape on him, but looking at his PFF grade on pass blocking, that kind of eased that. And I do think he can get the job done pass blocking. So that's what ended up making me put him in my top 10 there. Let's take a look at the chat. Pat, what's happening? Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Ben's in. What's up? Darkside Dev, he's apparently Gibbs size. I think he's probably shorter than Gibbs, similar weight, not as fast. So if you're right about Hendo Genti, I'll be singing her praises for decades. Hey, give it a couple years. Like, this isn't a rookie take. This isn't a this year take. These rankings that I do are more football based and more, career based. Like, who would I rather draft as an NFL franchise? Henderson, for sure. And I think in 3 years, we're going to come back and we're going to see that Henderson was the guy. And an out for that happening for me is an injury to Genti. I am calling that as in, like, that's a high probability. That's one of my biggest concerns about Genti, is because he's doesn't have that frame to take that kind of pounding. He really does not, in my opinion. So if he gets to the NFL and he starts taking a beating and he gets hurt, that's something I'm predicting. So yeah. Pounds in here, what's up? I just don't think Genti is a different league than Hampton and Henderson. I don't either. Like, they can all do similar stuff. It's just those guys have bigger bodies and less touches. So that's a big concern for me. It really is, that he's just been fed the rock 400 times, and then God knows how many times in high school. Right? 400 times as a senior, he's had 2 years previous to that. How many times in high school he's just taken a beating? So could you imagine if Boise State went further in the college football playoffs? Motherfucker might have gotten up to 500 goddamn touches. Like, that's not a good thing, in my opinion. Genti got 10 to 15 pounds on Gidzo. We'll see. We'll see what he weighs in at. Like, maybe he's a little bit shorter for sure. I think he's an inch or two, probably 2 inches shorter than Gibbs. And we'll see what he weighs in at. It's also combine weight. Like, that's definitely inflated typically. But either way, depends. If it's a concern, then they inflate it, as in they just drink 20 pounds of water or as much as they possibly can, right? But there you go. That's my running back rankings. I'm pretty hard set on that. I didn't plan on having 3. Like you could just say 11 and 12 for sure. But I originally had Jarquez as my 10th ranked, but I had to put Damian Martinez ahead of him just due to production. And then I still like Hunter, and Dylan Sampson's fine as well. So that's how I have it here. Other guys I don't mind. Brashard Smith, former wide receiver, doesn't have the size in my opinion. Probably a kick returner, wide receiver hands. Yeah, I like him as a prospect. I'm not over the moon, but I do like him. DJ Giddens, I'm less high on than most, but he's got an excellent jab and first step, good size, physical, good vision between the tackles. Would be great in a read option. So I think I had him going to the Commanders. I think would make a lot of sense. RJ Harvey, former running high school quarterback, tore his ACL in 2021. The dude's just a ball of energy, really, like a ton of juice. And honor student, ball of energy. Dolphins might be a good fit for him. Versatile back. He threw a touchdown pass in the Senior Bowl as well. Woody Marks. I think I comped Woody Marks to Tony Pollard. Yeah. Woody Marks and Tony Pollard, bit of a chain mover. Underrated, I thought, would get lost in the class a little bit. Nice hands, caught a lot of balls, pops off the screen, might be too small in pass pro. So that's the concern I have with a lot of these types of running backs. Brashard Smith, RJ Harvey, Woody Marks, definitely Marcus Yarns you could throw in there. Probably Jaden Blue you could throw in there, where their whole game is kind of predicated on catching the football in a third down running back sort of a situation, but they might not have the size for pass protection. So, and their pass pro numbers as far as PFF is concerned weren't really there. So that's my concern with those types of running backs. That's why my exposure is down a little bit on those guys, just because what I think they can do well and what teams will want them to do, they won't necessarily be able to do. So that's my concern. But yeah, these guys I haven't watched. Marcus Yarns I watched a little bit, but didn't have much for notes. LaQuint Allen, I got to be a little higher on. Wide receiver body and skills, upright, long striding running back, running style. Could probably do more with less carries, slippery runner, snap cuts, pinball. Yeah, he was the number 1 rated pass blocking running back in this entire class. So that's made me move him up my ranks a bit. He's not in my top 10, but it's definitely a guy that I've been drafting. I've been talking about it on the channel a little bit. So I'm definitely paying a little more attention to LaQuint Allen for sure. Trevor Etienne, I don't know, like good feet, good bounce, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get away with that stuff at the NFL level where he can just pop out the back door and then bust a 50-yard run. I just don't necessarily see that being attainable at the NFL level. Decent burst, but he lacks that long speed. Size is a question, so we'll see. Mario Anderson, I thought was not as bad as people might think. Decent second year, bit of a bowling ball. I comped him to Jaylen Warren. That's who I think he looked a lot like. Jordan James, I like a lot. If I were to put the next guy up kind of thing, it would be Jordan James right here. So I drafted him a lot. I do like his tape. I loved his tape, actually. Zone runner, nice bounce, good speed, lacks a breakaway gear. That's what kept them that's what kept them out of my top 10 is his lack of that breakaway speed. That's that second, third gear sort of thing. This was kind of funny. Like he does whatever he can to break tackles, dodge, duck, dip, dive, dodge. He does whatever he can to get away from a tackler and break a tackle. So I liked that for sure. Jaden Blue, I'll be interested in his combine measurements. He doesn't look 6 foot 200 to me. That's what he was listed at. Doesn't look like that to me, but we'll see what he kind of weighs in at. Even when CJ Baxter went down for the Longhorns this year, Jaden Blue didn't get that full, workload, that every down role that I thought he probably should have, I guess, or maybe needed. So that's why I think he's just that complimentary type back. But there's the running backs. That's kind of how I have that. I'm not changing any of this realistically right now, but let's take a look here. Bold take was definitely a debatable topic. The Henderson over Genty. I'm assuming what you're looking at. Trevor Etienne can't even get on the page. No, he's there. Yeah. Oh, you see him. Yeah, he's there. I have pretty much everybody on here realistically. And I watched tape on him. He's going to need to run a 4.4. I assume you're talking about Trevor Etienne. Yeah. I don't know if he gets there. And even if he does, I don't know. I don't think he's going to be able to get away with that stuff that he did at Georgia. I don't think he's going to be able to get away with it in the NFL personally. Yeah, Ben, we're doing a big board. I'm just going to show all that's left is wide receivers right now. So take a look at that. And yeah, of course we're drafting, man. Of course, we're always drafting. We're just going to take a look at the wide receivers that I hadn't shown at all. And I have completed my rankings. They're definitely not consensus. Mine are a little different, I think. And there's some reasons why. So let's jump into the wide receivers. So right off the top, I got Emeka Egbuka is my number one. I think that he's a professional wide receiver. You can line him up anywhere. He can destroy zone defenses, best fit in the slot, most likely, but he's the most pro-ready. I've said it lots of times on this channel. He's the most pro-ready wide receiver, in my opinion, not particularly close. So Emeka Egbuka is my number one. I have Trey Harris as my number two. High school quarterback. He threw the ball to Malik Neighbors in high school. The injury he had just derailed a potentially massive season. Like the dude he only played, what was it, like 6 or 7 games, over 1,000 yards. He was incredible in those games. And I think Mississippi would have went to the college football playoffs if he were on the team the whole time. NFL size and speed, one-on-one and 50-50 balls, like you got to beat him. And I don't think you're going to beat him. And he's just a professional wide receiver. So I have Jack Besh as my number 3. I'm higher than Jack Besh than probably anybody else. He outpaced Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., Trey Palmer as a true freshman, right, at LSU. So he has that pedigree. He was a standout wide receiver in high school and recruited by Wide Receiver U, LSU. Physical kid, just super put together. The kid is jacked. Good body control, plays with a bit of an edge, and then just a really good route tree. Like he was running all the routes you need at an NFL level and with enough speed to do it. So I think he would run probably low 4.5s, high 4.4s is what I'd really, really hope to see. But that's where I have him ahead of Teteroa. So if no one knows how to say his name, it's Teteroa McMillan. Tet McMillan, you can call him, obviously. I'd like to see him clean up his routes. They're definitely super sloppy. He just was relying on his ability to be bigger and stronger than the guy beside him or next to him, like the DB across from him, I should say, right? That's a really, really, really bad thing to get used to, being bigger and stronger than the guy across from you, whether that's a defensive lineman, an offensive lineman, or a big body wide receiver like Tet McMillan. Right. So separation concerns for sure. Top 3 by default. I pulled him back to 4. He does, he has that size and speed that I like to see. X traits. He never played with a different quarterback since high school. He's been with the same quarterback his whole high school career and his entire college career. So I have a lot of concerns about Tet McMillan, and you've seen it when I draft. You see my exposure. I have 1 share, I believe, of Tet McMillan when he dropped. And another thing about these rankings, it's really funny, like the group think. I was talking about it a lot last episode, which made me want to show the spreadsheets this episode here. This hasn't changed for me. Like I've had this, I don't think I showed it yet, but I have shown it in my exposures and how I talk about these players for sure. And now we're starting to see Tet McMillan fall out of first-round drafts or fall down in first-round drafts, and Luther Burden fall out of the first round in these mock drafts that everyone holds in such high regard, right? So it's like, I don't know if no one else actually watches tape or we just wait for Mel Kiper. I don't know. And Mel Kiper, to me, I'm not the biggest Mel Kiper fan personally. But now all of a sudden people are pulling back on Luther Burden because Mel Kiper said so. Like you've seen my exposure. I have not drafted Luther Burden once. I've been dogging him this whole time. To me, he's not particularly that guy. I'm okay to have him here, But either way, I just think it's funny. I thought I'd bring it up talking about Tet McMillan, how now it's okay to not be so high on Tet McMillan. Now it's okay to not be so high on Luther Burden. It's kind of just really grinds my gears. But either way, Tet McMillan's number 4. Travis Hunter would be higher. I would be higher on on Travis Hunter if he were 100% playing wide receiver. I saw a tweet today from, I can't remember who it was, but he was an Indianapolis beat writer, and he said meeting with however many it was, 10 or 20 or something GMs talking about Travis Hunter. Is he a wide receiver and a corner? All but one said he should be a wide receiver, and I agree. Really good job of coming back to the quarterback. Yeah, pick a side. Wide receiver makes more sense for me as for his size and his speed. Very limited route tree. I guess I could switch that up a little bit. Nice release for sure. It was unfair when I watched Travis Hunter's tape before I watched Shedeur Sanders' tape. So watching Travis Hunter's tape made me really not like Shedeur Sanders, and hurt Travis Hunter for me. But then I watched Shedeur Sanders tape, and it made me like them both more, to be honest with you. But he would be higher if he would just say, I'm a wide receiver. I'm going to be a wide receiver first. Maybe I'll play a little bit on defense and, take it from there. Quarters. I think if you're playing a lot of quarters defense, yeah, get Travis Hunter out there. But if you're playing a lot of man stuff, cover 2, stuff like that, then I don't think he's going to be the corner for you. I don't think you want to have him going one-on-one against big body wide receivers big body wide receivers as a corner, right? He's only 6'1", 180 pounds, super fast. That prototype doesn't particularly hold up well at corner in the NFL. You know where it can hold up nicely? As a wide receiver. So I think he should play wide receiver. That's my opinion of Travis Hunter. It seems like I'm in the minority, but that tweet I saw today about, GMs thinking he's a wide receiver, but then he's going to the combine as a corner. It's just all kinds of confusion. And realistically, he just needs to get a good voice in his ear, in my opinion, to tell him to pick a side. And in my opinion, you should pick offense. That's where I'm at with Travis Hunter. So he could be higher than this, but I'm still I don't know that he's going to play offense enough, right? So that's my concern. There you see Luther Burden. I mean, I don't despise him. I just think people have him too high. I just don't think he's better than any of these 5. I really don't. And to be honest with you, I could make a case for Xavier Restrepo and Jalen Royals to both be ahead of Luther Burden, to be honest. So yeah, he's quick and shifty. He can work inside, outside, but in the backfield, he's lined up everywhere, dangerous in space. So that's all that they were doing in Missouri, was just manufacturing touches for him, because he is dangerous. He's Deebo Samuel light, a little bit. He's got a little bit of Deebo in him. Think I'll be lower than most. He stays on his feet, which I do like to see. Matthew Golden as well does a good job of staying on his feet, running through the catch. Right? Catching the ball, staying on their feet. A lot of like AJ Brown. Think AJ Brown as in a slant. Like that's what these two do a lot, which I really, really like. But other than that, there wasn't a crazy amount. A lot of manufactured touches, a lot of screens behind the line of scrimmage, lining up in the backfield, that sort of stuff. So yeah, I don't despise them, but I'm just way lower than most. And I always have been for this entire process. Now it's okay for me to say this, I guess. I don't know. Xavier Restrepo, I like a lot. I think he's the best slot receiver in this entire class, personally. 100% a slot receiver, Ivy League recruited. He was highly recruited in the Ivy League, ended up obviously going to Miami, which is not necessarily an Ivy League school at all, but obviously football was important to him. And he set every record you can imagine as a wide receiver at Miami, at the U, right? So excellent route runner and tree, understands how and where to get open, excellent shoulders and hips and hands. I really liked that, setting up defenders, looking at their hips and going the other way, boom, boom. So that I really like that from Restrepo. Jalen Royals, late bloomer, plenty of speed. Again, injury just killed his season, which could have been massive. And then how would we be talking about a Jalen Royals? Definitely, I still have Trey Harris up there. He's still that guy for me. But what would be saying about Jalen Royals if he played the full season? How much higher would people be on him? I know there's a lot of people that are high on him, but there you go. So what I really liked was he went to Georgia Military College, right? So he's a late bloomer, as I said earlier here. Late bloomer, went to Georgia Military College, so he's military raised, which I always like to see, which means they're very disciplined, right? I like when guys are raised by a military family, went to a military school, something like that. It's encouraging to me. And then I have Matthew Golden at 9. I'm lower on him than most. Kick return option for sure. Good in space. Z traits. Nice first step and release. He's fine. Nice hands and concentration when the ball is in the air. So there's a lot of floating balls with Quinn Ewers because Quinn Ewers is terrible and just has zero zip on his football, in my opinion. So you kind of have to be patient and have good concentration when Quinn Ewers is your quarterback. But I'm definitely lower on Matthew Golden than most as well. And we're seeing him fall out of, mock drafts left, right, and center too. So now I guess it's okay for me to say that about him as well. Savion Williams, I have there, high school quarterback, played a lot of running back, wildcat quarterback, just buzzwords here. I was just very, very if you want a shot of caffeine, if you want a shot in the nuts, go watch Savion Williams highlight tape or even just a game. Because I was typing this stuff when I was just watching one game highlights, like one game all plays kind of thing. And it was just boom, every touch, he was busting off 20, 30-yard runs, catching the ball, running the ball, doing a little bit of everything, running back with the ball in his hands. Get him the ball and watch him do his work. That's how I felt about Savion. Super boom or bust, charged with 8 drops. That's unacceptable. Hopefully he can clean that up and, be a little more boom than bust at the NFL level. But we'll see where he lands. That's landing spot's going to be huge for this guy, but we'll see where he lands. I'm definitely higher on him, I think, than most as well. Let's look at some comps for Xavier Restrepo, Malik Washington to Cooper Kupp, somewhere in the middle there, somewhere between those two. Debo Light for Luther Burden. Quentin Johnston was my Tet McMillan comp, and Keenan Allen for Emeka Ibuka. So I think that's a really, really clean comp, in my opinion. Keenan Allen for Emeka Ibuka. I think that's really clean. But either way, moving down, we'll flow through this and we'll get into a draft. Ty Felton, I don't think there's enough there personally. Just an absolute ton of screen passes for this guy. I'm not there with Ty Felton. Tez Johnson is my guy. I don't really care that he's small. I don't at all. I have him comped to Tank Dell. He's good friends with them. They talk all the time. You can't give him an inch, lined up in the slot. Tank Dell and Cooper Kupp mentored. Quality route runner, tighten up a bit, punt returner for sure. Jaden Higgins is a guy that I'm higher on than I was. He's got those X wide receiver traits, 50-50 balls. Speed might be a bit of a concern, so we'll see what he runs at the combine. Ricky White, I like a lot. I loved his tape, actually. He was basically half the production at UNLV for the past 2 seasons as far as passing production. He can and he wants to play special teams in the NFL, which he blocked, I think, 2 or 3 punts in college. He's got those Z traits, so he's your number 2 wide receiver sort of thing. Can play inside and out. He's a dog. Good hips and shoulders as well. Good first step. I think he could fit well with the Steelers or actually the team I have him landing on is the Chargers. I think that would make a lot of sense. But we'll see. I had Nick Nash higher than I thought I would, but he was the first guy I watched. So that was kind of unfair. I do really like him. I think he can be, it's not necessarily a comp completely in his play, but my comp for Nick Nash is Puka Nacua. Not necessarily that he's like Puka Nacua skill-wise and you put him in your offense and he'll be Puka Nacua. No, more that he'll be that like 4th, 5th round guy that, or like an Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? 4th or 5th round guy that absolutely smashes in the right system with the right quarterback, with the right coaching, right? he goes somewhere and he's that big slot, because he is a slot receiver, NFL frame and speed, former quarterback in college as well, which I like former quarterbacks as wide receivers or tight ends. But he understands how to get open, but he was playing that long game with defenders in college where he won't have that luxury in the NFL. He's not going to be a team's number one weapon like he was at San Jose State. So he's not going to have the longevity throughout the game to be able to set up defenders. So we'll see how he works out, but I have him comped, like I said, to Puka, more of what he could do if he gets the right, landing spot. Pat Bryant, I like a lot, probably higher on than most people as well, even though I haven't drafted him. So other people have drafted him in the big board. So there you go. I guess they're higher than me, but could be a solid number 2. Quality route tree, NFL frame and speed, physical. I thought he was too physical watching his tape. Actually, might get some OPI calls. I thought he was a little bit too physical. You get less calls in college on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. You get less calls. You can get away with a lot more at the college level. So we'll see. He was just very aggressive, which is not at all necessarily a bad thing. So we'll see. Again, he's got to go somewhere. Jalen Lane, I liked actually. I think he'll get a job. I think he'll be someone's primary kick and punt returner, and then just like their number 5 or 6 wide receiver. So nothing really there for yet, anyways, for fantasy. But I think he's going to make a team and be a primary kick and punt returner, and then be on the team as a wide receiver. So we'll see how he does. Jalen Noel probably would have been next on my rankings. I like Jalen Noel a lot. Again, a kick and punt returner, slot receiver, good hands. He can crush zone, crisp routes. Elik Ayumanor gets a injury red flag for me. Born Medicine Hat, which is about an hour and a half east of me in Alberta, Canada. So that's cool. I like that. And to have the injuries that he's had in his career, he's basically played like 3 full seasons since he was a sophomore in high school, which is crazy. He's had a ton of injuries. COVID derailed the entire season for him, right? So to go through all that and to be where he's at, I like that, but I haven't drafted him at all, not once, and I don't think I will. We'll see how he does at the combine maybe, but yeah, I did like his tape. He's really good one-on-one. There's a little bit of Mike Evans, little flashes of Mike Evans. Jaden Reed was my comp for Jalen Noel. I saw someone else have that comp as well, actually, same player, Jaden Reed for Jalen Noel, Jaden Reed for Jalen Noel. I thought that was a good comp, so there you go. Ja'Cory Brooks, Jatavion, LeJohntay Webster. None of these guys I really watch tape on. I don't think it's necessary. Arian Smith, speed guy, super fast. Kyle Williams, I'd like to watch some tape on. I just haven't had the time yet. Jackson Meeks, I did watch. Torrey Horton Jr., I don't think there's enough there. Could be a bit of a project. Tons of drags, tons and tons of drags. You watch his tape and he's just running over the middle of the field, 2 yards upfield, crossing it's just the same thing, but he could be a zone beating big slot, I suppose. That's kind of where I landed on with Torrey Horton. But Kyle Williams is really the guy that I do want to watch. So we'll see where that happens. But there's the comp I had for Jaden Higgins, Alan Lazard. Same school, similar size, similar body, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's take a quick peek at the chat. I think the latest Mel Kiper mock had Ibuka round 1 as the first wide receiver off the board. Yeah, I don't really like Mel Kiper, but yeah, I've been seeing a lot of Emeka Ibuka rising up and Trey Harris rising up, Ted McMillan falling, and Luther Burden, Matthew Golden, all falling. So again, now it's okay for me to say that, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of funny how I set my rankings, and this is how I'm going to go about things, and I'm not changing it. So there you go. This top 10 is out of control. Is that the wide receivers or the running backs? But yeah, that's just what I see, man. This is what I see. Could I be wrong? Yeah, Yeah, of course I can. But guess who else can be wrong all the time? NFL teams. NFL teams that put millions of dollars into this thing, millions and millions and millions of dollars into their draft boards, and they're wrong every single year. So I could definitely be wrong, but this is what I see, and I'm sticking to it. I'm not changing, and I'm drafting as such. I'm glad you like it. Hopefully you agree. Or no Trey Harris comp. No Trey Harris comp. I I I don't just throw one in for everyone. I don't think that's completely fair to just, throw in a comp. I guess I could just look for someone size and speed close to them and plays somewhat similar. I don't know. I have to like see it while I'm watching the tape. And if I see it, then I'll write it. So that's kind of what I do. I saw a little Quentin Johnson with the lack of separation, using that, relying on his body control or just being bigger and stronger in college, right? Same thing like Malik Washington and Cooper Kupp, that sort of thing. I saw flashes of both. So I just said, you can't be Cooper Kupp. You can't just give that out willy nilly. So, especially to my 7th ranked wide receivers. So, put it kind of in between. But I do really like the Keenan Allen. I think that's super clean. I really like that. Tank Dell, that's pretty obvious for Tez Johnson. And then Alan Lazard. Jaden Reed was one I was really comfortable too. I think that's super clean with Jalen Knoll. I really like that comp personally. So yeah, there you go. That's my rankings. So LeJounte and Jimmy Horn are worth watching. Yeah, I mean, I saw them enough. I thought with the Shadur Sanders tape, and yeah, there's some stuff there, but they're both kind of just projects, speed guys, undersized a little bit. Yeah, I mean, they're fine. Solid breakdown across the board. Appreciate it. Yeah, like I put in a lot of work, man. I put in a lot of work for this every year. So this is last year's stuff. We can look at that, Caleb. This is all last year's stuff. I didn't rank the running backs. The wide receivers are there. It's higher on BTJ than most, I suppose. I had Adunze above Neighbors. Landing spot was way better for Neighbors than Adunze, in my opinion, there. But realistically, again, I had 0% drafting wise Marvin Harrison, and I was drafting a lot of Neighbors, a lot of Adunze, a lot of BTJ, right? The guy I was probably wrong about here would be Adonai Mitchell. I thought he got killed because Quinn Ewers sucks. So that's why I thought that just hurt both him and Xavier Worthy's tape too much. But there you go. Either way, I put a ton of work into this. So I'm not just like sticking to consensus because that's what you're supposed to do. I really don't care what, I hope people like it. I hope people appreciate where I'm coming from. And if you disagree, absolutely disagree. Please do. Like, I'm not saying I'm right, you're wrong, or anyone else is wrong. That's for damn sure. I'm certain I'm going to be wrong somewhere in here, at least a couple times. So, but I do the work myself and I stick to it. So that's what I do. I put in the work and I stick to my rankings. I stick to my opinion, and I don't care. I'm not going to be bullied into changing my opinion because Mel Kiper said so. You know what I mean? They would have cooked DBs at the Senior Bowl. Who are you talking about, Farachi? Oh, probably. It's unfair, man. Really, it's really unfair what happens to DBs when they put them one-on-one out there at the Senior Bowl and they're just doing reps one-on-one. That's kind of unfair. Like they're just doomed to fail, really. So, yeah, it's super unfair actually. But let's jump into a big board here. I haven't taken the time to make my own top 10, so I'm just pretty sure to see someone else's. There you go. Yeah, I'm happy to show. So there you go. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not worried about anyone's opinion or being, told I'm an idiot or I don't know what I'm talking about. I've maybe I'm new to a lot of people, but I've been making videos for years. This is like I'm on year 5 making videos and making YouTube content, and I've been told I'm an idiot lots of times. So that I'm okay with it. It's not a big deal. And everyone's entitled to their own opinion, that's for sure. So let's jump into a big board. Let's put it into practice. Waiting on two. Yeah, exactly. Everyone is wrong everywhere, somewhere, every year, 100%. Again, like I said, these NFL teams put millions and millions of dollars into this every single year, and they're wrong every single year, right? So I'm not going to be too concerned if I'm wrong once or twice in my rankings. So yeah. Oh, sorry, Ben. We're waiting on two, and I jumped in. So we got a couple. We got a couple in here. We got Champ X3. We got Toast 0420. We got Who Hames. Losimo. Damn. Bunch of guys. It's going to be a tough room, eh? All badges. All red badges. 3 black badges. This will probably be a tough room. So I've been getting the 9 a lot, like 8, 9, 10. I've been getting a lot lately. So that's fun. At least I'm getting my reps in there. I got to try to be different. We'll see how I do there. So I also have to finish my rankings. I gotta put some time into that, finish my rankings, and then we'll do an exposure reveal. Like I said, next episode, which will be either Friday or one of the days on the weekend. Tomorrow night, I'll be going on the Best Ball barbecue with PPR Tyler, whose show's probably wrapping up now, I'd imagine. He was doing a show with Steph. Steph Miller was on the Best Ball barbecue a little earlier. I'm sure a lot of guys are coming over from there. So appreciate you coming in. Hit that like button for me if you don't mind. If you like the content, you appreciate the spreadsheets, you appreciate the rankings, subscribe and like, all the stuff that helps the kid. Jamar Chase at the 2. That's nice to get. Personally, I'm never clicking Barkley before pick 5. Malik Neighbors gets brought up by Who Hames. Getting different. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I might have picked Neighbors here, actually. I need a little more of him. But BTJ could go Nico. It's really hard for me to collect Nico over Amon-Ra. Really, really, really hard. And I'm not going to here. I would like to get a little more Amon-Ra. I think he could and probably should easily move up the board a little bit. I think he was ADP 5 or 6 last year. And what's changed? You could say other people's value, yeah, for sure, but I don't know. I'm picking him over definitely Nico, definitely BTJ, probably over Neighbors. So yeah, I'll take as much as I can get at the 9, 10, 11, even seen him go as far as 12. So appreciate that, man. I try a lot. I put in a lot of work. The thing, where I landed on this whole channel was I was doing this stuff anyways. Like I was doing this stuff for my own, just that was my process. And then when COVID happened, I made a channel, started making content. It was a little different. The content was a lot different before. Best ball wasn't a thing at that time. And then when Best Ball started, here we are. So you can go back and see all the videos. Some of the old content was pretty bad and a little different, but yeah, you gotta see where you came from. So appreciate that, man. Appreciate that a lot. 5'11", pretty flat, and I never get him. Yeah, fair. Every time every time I plan on picking him when I'm like the 9 or 10, someone pulls him up and takes him at like 8 or 9, right before me. So yeah, I need to focus on getting more Neighbors as well, to be honest with you. Pretty free to take whoever I want here. But I don't have Derrick Henry paired with Amon-Ra. He's the next in line ADP wise, which I don't mind. I need to up my exposure a little bit. I do need to get some McCaffrey in my life, but I don't see a need to rush it. So yeah, I don't see a need to get much McCaffrey right now. I really don't. So you can get him at any time. He's not going anywhere. I don't think he's going to move up or down. Well, he can move down, certainly, if we get some odd news. But yeah, I'm not in a rush to click CMC. That's for sure. RB1, RB still feels gross to me. Round one. Oh, round one RB. Yeah, I'm getting dyslexic there. I don't disagree. Bijan I'll take. Gibbs I'll take. And that's it in the first round. I have one share of Barkley. I got him at the 5 spot and I took him because that's where I have him ranked. So that's where I'll take him if he falls there ever. And I'm picking 5 or 6, whatever, 5, 6, 7. If he's there, I'll take Barkley. Other than that, I'm not. And I'm typically going, obviously, Chase. CD is high for me. And then I need to start mixing in some Jefferson, but I'll take Bijan and Gibbs, after that. As far as my rankings, I think it's Chase, CD, Bijan, Gibbs, Barkley, Jefferson, Puka, Amon-Ra, something like that. Something like that is where I'm landing. But you're not wrong. I do agree with that. It's just, I think there's just so much value at running back in certain ranges. So this range, I obviously don't like, even all the way down to Kamara. So after Breece Hall, all the way, like Jacobs, I don't like any of these guys particularly. I don't really like any of these guys for running backs. But then it gets super juicy with, I don't mind Kamara, but I love me some Kenny Walker. Amari and Hampton, I need to up my exposure to. Caleb, I need to get a little more. Trevion, I love. Quinshawn, I'm a big fan of. Pollard, Warren, right? These ranges are where I'm clicking running back a lot. So I don't know what we would classify that as, zero running back. I don't even know. I don't know what the buzzword is for that. But that's just how I'm building out my running back room. So I don't disagree as far as early round running back, round 1 or 2, 3, whatever. That's a strong take. I'm out on Barkley too, but softer fade. I have JJ at 2. So always take JJ over Saquon. I would take JJ over Saquon too most times, but how often is Barkley going to fall to pick 5 or 6? Right. So if he's there at pick 5, 6, 7, I'll get my 1, 2, 3 Barkley shares. How many shares are we going to be able to get? Right. That's the earliest I'll take him is pick 5. And the only share I have of him, the one share I have of Barkley, I got to pick 5. So, and I can't remember who went before him, but I just thought that was the only justifiable spot. Saquon RB3. Yeah, me too. I have Bijan, then Gibbs, then Barkley, as far as my RB rankings are concerned. Early dead zone, maybe. I don't know. Good question for a name of that range. Yeah. I don't know. What we'd call it. And I don't know. I don't know what we'd call that range, but it's just not a great range of running back. At the end of round 1, like Devon Achane, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, I like all those guys. And then at the turn, Breece Hall right here. Bucky, if he falls, I'm okay. Like if you're getting Bucky in the 30s, I would click him there. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad time or season or draft cycle or whatever to wait on running back a little bit anyways. What do we want to do here? Like in theory, Josh Allen's the click, but I might bring up some Mike Evans. I've been talking about it a lot, and let's just do it. I need to force myself to get more Mike Evans. 2% in the big board and 4% overall is just kind of unacceptable. And I always do this every year. I do this with Mike Evans. I never mean to fade him. I never mean to have 2% Mike Evans, and then he always goes off for like a 30 burger in the fantasy playoffs every year. Whether it's in week 17 or not, he's still going to help you get there if it's week 15, 16, right? So, which, is not easy. One of 10, one of 16, whatever it is, one of 18. I can't remember what it was last year. I think it was 1 of 10, 1 of 10 in Best Ball Mania, but in the big board, it's 1 of 10, 1 of 10. So, if Mike Evans souls up a 30 burger in the 15, 16, or 17, I'm happy. So I need to force myself to take more Mike Evans. And that's what I've just done. So there you go. There you go. 116. Was it 1 of 16 or 1 of 18? I know it went down. So it's 1 of 16 sounds right. And I think the year before it was 1 of 18. So that sounds right, which is super difficult. That's why it's like people make it seem like, oh, you didn't make the Best Ball finals or you didn't make Best Ball Mania finals. Yeah, because it's not easy, man. It's very, very, very difficult. I had 2 big board teams in the finals, and I couldn't sneak one in the Best Ball Mania finals, which hurt my feelings. But that's how she goes. It's a tough game we play, as we all know. Tough game. I would have taken Chase Brown there. I might have taken Kyron, maybe. Wow. I have 0% correlation with the Dunze with any of these players. Let's bring up Roma Dunze. One of my favorite clicks, honestly, all draft season. And if I have 0 shares of Rome with these 3 players, I want to correct that, especially Henry and Amon-Ra. I definitely want to correct that. So let's bring up Roma Dunze. Definitely getting a little unique. I brought up Mike Evans a little bit. Couple picks of ADP drop for Derrick Henry. This is very common. Don't get me wrong, but I'm bringing up Mike Evans, bringing up Roma Dunze. That should help get a little bit unique, and it's unique for me, so that's important. 1 of 16, yeah, I think it was 1 of 18 the year before, because I know it went down and made it a little more attainable, which is good. Statistically, an average 150 maxer gets the best 1 in 10 years. Yeah, I saw that out of Justin Herzig, pointed that out. So yeah, it's not easy. This game is not easy. That's for sure. So yeah, I was selling it to myself. Like telling myself I'm an above average drafter. So whether that's true or not is up for debate, but either way, did anybody in the chat sign up for Herzig's fun Best Ball Mania salary cap kind of DFS format game sort of thing that he put together? I did. Should be fun. We'll see. It's free. I wouldn't mind if there was some sort of buy-in or something like that, but you have to max Best Ball Mania. And then I don't know who's going to decide this, but they're going to give a salary cap to every drafter. So I would assume like Herzig, Liam, Rojo, like all those guys are in there. I signed up for it. I think he had like 50 or something like that. People sign up for it and then assign a salary cap. You call it 50,000, whatever it is, similar to DraftKings DFS. You pick, 6 drafters, and then you get points for as you finish sort of thing. So I thought it was kind of cool. I signed up. I may or may not have maxed Best Ball Mania. Probably still would have anyways, but this definitely gives me a little motivation. It'd just be fun. I think it'll be fun. So I don't know if it's still open. I don't know. Go on Justin Herzig's Twitter and track it down. It was just a Google sheet that you kind of filled out your info sort of thing. I'm not sure if it's still open. So maybe it is because it's not till Best Ball Mania season anyways, but I think it'll be really fun regardless. It's a free thing. He'll probably get some prizes. I'm sure Herzig could scrounge up some donation prizes from, some supporters and whatnot, even ETR. And I'm sure Underdog would chip in, but it'll be fun. I soon will be open until about the draft. Yeah. Well, until at least until like, yeah, the draft, that makes sense, because right after the draft is when Best Ball Mania starts, right? Roughly. I think the schedule drops early May, which is kind of when I wait to start drafting Best Ball Mania, and over the summer, when we know the schedule, we know the week 17 matchup, the 16, the 15 matchup, right? And then these tools can be much more utilized, like the Best Ball overlay, spike week, leg up, whatever. Pick your poison, whichever works best for you. So what are we doing here? What are we going to do here? Uncle Benji, definitely drafted him a bunch of times. I don't know who that is. I don't know his name, but definitely drafted with him a lot. I'm not exactly maxed out with Kenny Walker here. So, wow, Kittle might have been it. Okay, that's fair. So let's go Kenny Walker. I'm going to be highly exposed to Kenny Walker, as I already am, but I want to be about 30%. So let's bring him in. Which has hurt my Amari and Hampton exposure. So I still have a lot of bullets, though. I still have about 100 bullets in the big board, so I can catch up. The only concern might be is if Hampton goes out and runs like a 4.42 and just looks like an absolute stud at the combine, then he might rise, but it might get him out of that Kenny Walker range anyways, and that might actually help me get more exposure. So we'll see. We'll see where that lands. We will see where that lands. Couple different directions I can go here, but let's just bring in Laporta, pair him up with the Monra, 0% exposure with the rest of my entire squad. So this is a very unique team for me, which I like. I like a lot. So happy with the build so far. Kittle pick always feels so nice. Yeah, it's a good range for him to go. It makes a lot of sense where he goes. So I click him a fair amount. I'm about 10% right now. Probably end up right around there, 10 to 12%. It's a pretty fine click. It's a good running back range though. And then it just depends on the wide receivers. That's kind of why, because DK's gone, Jalen Waddle's gone, right? This whole range of wide receivers are gone, and then it's like Pickens, Godwin, Sutton, Judy, or George Kittle. A lot of times, give me George Kittle, right? If I'm not picking a running back, Kamara, all these running backs are in that range. The rookies, Kenny Walker, right? So yeah, I like that spot for Kittle too. Emo Cowboy, what's happening? Welcome in. Good to see you. Boom, I put my name in it. Nice. Yeah. It should be fun. It should be a fun little game. I wonder, like, I don't know if just Herzig or who's going to be deciding the salaries. I'm sure I'll be a low owned, low salary. And I'm sure I'll have myself on my own team for sure. You got to. And then we'll see from there. But it'll be fun. It'll be a fun game, I think. Hampton going to run like that, in my opinion. I think I took the over on his. I put together a little fun ticket just because you got to get some action during the combine, right? I picked Hampton to run slower than 4.45. I thought he looked like 4.5 on tape. I literally wrote it in my notes. Therefore, I said, okay, 4.45, I'll take the over. He was the same as, who was it? He had the same as Caleb Johnson. And I thought Caleb Johnson was a bunch faster than Hampton. Therefore, if I think that, then I'm going to have to say that Hampton's slower than that. He could still break the 4.5s and I still win. I took the slower on Donovan Edwards, who came in at 4.53. That's a close one, but I don't think he runs much faster than that. I took the faster on Quinshaw Judkins, 4.51. I think he runs in the 4.4s. And then I took the slower on Cam Scatabo. His was 4.6. And I think he runs in the 4.46s, 4.62, 4.64, something like that. So yeah, I wouldn't tail probably. I wouldn't tail me. I just wanted to throw a little ticket together, get a little action for the combine. I think he runs almost exactly what his number is. Yeah, we'll see. I just thought what's the difference between a 4.45 and a 4.50? Not a lot. Like really not a lot. So you'll definitely be in my BBM DFS line. I appreciate that. I don't know if that's advisable, but I appreciate the support. I guarantee my salary will be, in the nosebleeds. So, yeah, you'll be able to fit in those Herzigs and Liams maybe if you. I don't know who's deciding the salaries, but whatever. I don't really care who is. It'll just be fun regardless of anything. It'll be a fun game. It's free, so who cares? And it'll be a good time. It'll be good content, good trash talking piece kind of thing. Looks like Debo's falling with the news that it'll be traded. That's interesting. We're gonna bring in Baker here, which I don't particularly love that I'm bringing him up, but that's what I'm going to do to pair him up with Mike Evans. I do want to get unique here. And I want to use my my rankings at some point in this draft, but we'll see how that goes. I'm probably wrong on Hampton. I personally thought Caleb looked slower than Hampton. Felt Caleb just looks fast because those holes were so big. Yeah, they had one of the better run blocking as far as PFF is concerned. Iowa did. So you could be correct on that one. My work phone's ringing. That's annoying. It's way too late in the day for my work phone to be ringing. Let me get rid of that. Jeez. Scam. Some sort of scam. That's really annoying. Yeah, but I don't know. I just, as far as the long speed is concerned, like Hampton did break off some pretty big runs as well. And yeah, just off the long speed that I saw, I thought he looked a little slower than 4.45. So I could be wrong too. That's what I'm saying. Don't tail it. Don't tail my ticket. I just wanted a little juice, a little fun for the while I'm watching the combine. Put like $30 on it, not a big deal. So whatever happens. We're going to bring in Goff here. Obviously pair him up with Amon-Ra and Laporta. So we'll make that easy peasy. Double click quarterback on the wraparound. I definitely want at least one of Liam or Herzig. They'll probably certainly be super pricey though. Yeah, like Herzig's made the final in every Best Ball Mania tournament, literally all of them. He won Best Ball Mania 1, made the finals in 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that's exceptionally hard to do. If you can, like, I'll probably have Herzig as well, because if you can do that, then yeah, I'll probably put him in mine. I'll probably start it with me, Herzig, and then I don't know. I'll figure it out from there. I'll have some fun with it. It'll be a fun time. Those two should probably be top salary. Yeah, I agree. I hope Pat from the Pound isn't too pricey, to be honest. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Like, again, I don't know who's deciding who's making the prices, but it'll be fun. What do you think about Milrow 4.38? I think that's really, really close. Milrow is fucking fast. He's a running back. Like, he is a running back that can throw a little bit. He's got a bit of a cannon for an arm. Like, he can throw the ball. He's got some zip. He just needs a lot of work in that regard. Like I was saying, in the rankings talk, He's the only lottery ticket at quarterback. He is the only quarterback in this entire draft that is a legitimate lottery ticket where you could absolutely cash in, a $50 million quarterback, or he could, you could rip it up after his rookie season, right? So other than that, everyone's pretty standard. There's a lot of vanilla. There's a lot of standard. There's a lot of, there's 3 guys that have the potential of being that guy, Dart, Shador, Cam Ward have the potential, and they all need to sit a year. So we'll see, but everyone else is pretty vanilla. And then Jalen Milroe is that one lottery ticket. So we'll see. We will see. Milroe should just convert to Joker or whatever we consider Taysom. Yeah. He can't catch, though. Like, I don't think Milroe can catch. He's got small hands, too, which hurts him as a quarterback. But, yeah. I'm going to be done at quarterback here for sure. Let's call that good. Unless something crazy happens, I'll be done at quarterback. So wide receiver is pretty thin. This definitely looks like a running back range for sure. Unless I can get Cooper Kupp, I guess. Yeah, let's get some Cooper Kupp as our wide receiver 4 when I have Derrick Henry and Kenny Walker. Yeah, I really like the way this team is shaping up, actually. 11 picks at ADP value, basically a full round. I like the way this team is shaping up for sure. Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, double stack Jared Goff, Derrick Henry, Kenny Walker, Amon-Ra, Mike Evans, Roma Dunze, Cooper Kupp, and Sam Laporta. Obviously, it's going to be really interesting where Cooper Kupp goes. That's obvious. That's very obvious that that's an interesting kind of narrative. I would be very happy if Cooper Kupp were a Cincinnati Bengal. I think that actually makes a lot of sense. I really want it to be like a skilled slot type. Like Chris Godwin was the guy that I really wanted until he got hurt again. And now it sounds like he's going to head back to the Bucks anyways. But yeah, I think Cooper Kupp could really, really, really fit in that offense and do really well and be really good for that offense. So that would be cool. In this instance, in this draft, what I've been doing, I think that would be really nice. I guess I just have to go with Michael Pittman because he doesn't need back surgery. Oh, now he could need back surgery. Let's not do that then. That's a little scary. I do need a little more Brian Robinson in this range. So let's click him here. Let's stay along the unique path. And considering this was a top 10 rookie rankings show, I haven't drafted a single rookie, but that's okay. I don't think it's necessary to force it, but there we are. Let's see what everyone else is doing here. Anything weird? Champ X3. I'm not a big Chuba guy personally, but if he falls, I'll take him. I think I took him in the mid 50s one time. Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow. I'm okay with that. I would recommend not picking a third. It's up to you, but paired up with Jamar Chase, Terry McLaurin with Daniels. I actually really like that. I probably would have not clicked Chuba here and went with another receiver. I would have went full 0 RB if this was my start. I like that. I like getting Terry with Daniels, bringing Daniels way up. I think that's fine. I think that's perfectly fine. And then pairing up Chase with Joe Burrow. This right here makes the Chase and Burrow unique. Because if you need these two, call it week 17, week 15, week 16, whatever, and then this is the pairing that you need in the other off week, like I really don't mind that at all. I really don't, but I wouldn't have went Chuba. I would have just said, okay, I'm going to go full kind of, and not even zero. Like I'm fine with this here. I actually really like those two picks. And that's a fine start. I think, let's say, I don't know, Devontae, DK Metcalf, Devontae Adams, DK for sure right here. I think that would be really nice. And then Pollard, Warren. Yeah. Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about doing this start myself, actually. And maybe at like the 1-2 turn. And then, yeah, something similar to this. I like that. Actually. It's interesting. I've been thinking about that myself. So I do like it. I really do. Yeah, I like it too. You have to pull them up there. I've been thinking about that a lot because that's the only way I've been trying to see, like, if I get Terry McLaurin to fall like right around here, 26, 27, 28, and then hoping Jaden Daniels is going to fall, and it never happens. It literally never happens. So you have to pull them up. You have to take Terry kind of right at ADP, 22, 23, 24, and then bring up Jaden Daniels. It's the only way to do it. It feels a lot more comfortable if like Josh Allen got pulled up somewhere, right? Like let's say Josh Allen got pulled up to 22, you get Terry McLaurin at 23 and then go Jaden Daniels. But regardless, doesn't mean it's wrong in any way. That's for sure. So yeah, I actually really like that. I do. I really do. What else are we doing here? I don't need to go running back here. I'm going to get a little different and pull up Colston Loveland. It's a weird pick. I agree. Doesn't exactly make all the sense in the world either. I kind of agree with that. But that's what I'm going to do. I just don't love, like, I don't mind getting Xavier Legette, but I don't want to go overboard. Devin Neal, I mean, if he falls to me at 136, I'll take him, but I'm trying to pull back a touch. I don't mind being 10 to 15%, but I don't want to go overboard there either because there are some red flags. There is some concern, at least until we see him at the combine. And then Travis Hunter, that's obviously built in. Christian Kirk might not be on the Jags. We'll see. Like literally, he's done it one time, right? So we're just convinced that he's going to be that. I don't know. Quentin Johnston's kind of just always there. I'm good on my exposure there. There's just really no one else to click in this range in this draft that I'm doing. So I'm going to pull up, a rookie tight end when I know I'm taking 3. And it's a rookie tight end that I like when I'm very confident I'm taking 3, even though I took Sam Laporta, 6th round or whatever it was. So, yeah. And I'm very comfortable with my running back room and my wide receiver room for that matter. So, yeah. This might make some sense to take, I guess, Christian Kirk here or Travis Hunter. There's really not a running back that I really want to pull up. I guess I could take Liggett and just get some exposure there. Let's do that. Doesn't really matter the wide. I'll just take the wide receiver that is there that falls to me when it makes some sense exposure-wise and uniqueness-wise. Let's just go that route. Recovering from foot surgery, not a big deal. Should be ready for camp. Not too concerned about that. Yeah. Now I just have tons of freedom, I think, with this build. Done at 2 quarterbacks. Having Henry and Walker just frees me up, and then getting Brian Robinson as that number 3, just steady, should be exactly what he's been the first 2 seasons. Mind you, I 100% expect the Commanders to draft a running back, 100%. Both Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler will be free agents after this season. Eckler will not be brought back. And Brian Robinson, I doubt it. I doubt he comes back to the Commanders. I really do. And if he does, it'll be as a complimentary back. But this might be the last kick at the can you get for Brian Robinson. So for me, I actually like when running backs are in a desperate spot. That's one of the reasons I'm higher than most on, well, I shouldn't say I'm higher than most on Isaiah Pacheco. I'll just take him at pick 100 or way later. So, yeah, it's the last kick at the can for these guys. It's now or never. You either have to be that guy or you're never going to be that guy. So that's the one thing I don't mind about Brian Robinson this year and Pacheco. Amon-Ra, Mike Evans, Roma Dunze, Cooper Kupp, Xavier Leggett, Sam Laporta, and my number 2 ranked tight end, Colston Loveland. So we're getting some rookie action. Definitely need some rookies on this team. That's for sure. But you never have to force it. I really do believe that you don't ever have to force rookies into your lineup. You really don't. So nothing's really out of line. Nothing's really falling. Ben Haskell just got Devin Neal at 142. Did he break his leg or something? I don't know. Yeah, he fell in this draft too. For me, my reasoning, 134, and that was a fall. 142. Yeah, wow. I would have taken him at 136 if he fell to me, but there is some concern. I am excited to see him at the combine. I do want to see what he runs, what he weighs in at, all that kind of stuff. Not that I am really concerned, because I wouldn't say that I am at all, but yeah, I think I want to see what he runs. You never know if medical stuff could come up. That's always a concern as well. I just don't want to get overexposed is where I'm at. Like I have 15% in this tournament and even more overall, 24% overall, I think it was. So I don't want to get overexposed. It's going to be Jalen Wright here, even though I didn't get to see uniqueness. Yeah, that works. Jalen Wright, I'm really high on. I'm trying to bring in as much as I can. And now I can hold off for rookies if I want, and I kind of do. So I can hold off for rookie running backs. I think he's a faller candidate. If he runs bad, people who like him are already loaded up. Exactly. Yeah, that's literally exactly what I just said. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I've got my shares, and I have, what's my average on Devin Neal? That's something I'd like to see. 126. So what's his ADP? Wow, right at ADP, little less. Okay. So yeah, I've gotten them more or less, right? I'm loaded up. I've got my shares of Devin Neal. I don't need to force it, that's for sure. And we'll see what he does at the combine. I don't think he moves too much. So yeah, I figured it out. It took me a second, to be honest. I didn't really know what you're talking about. But yeah, appreciate the shout. I didn't really know what you're talking about or honestly, I didn't know what you were saying. I was like, yeah, I see it. Yeah, it makes sense. Totally. But no, I figured it out. It definitely, but does make sense now. So appreciate that. Appreciate the shout on that. Obviously, Kate Otten, pair up, double stack with my Baker, Mike Evans, 3 tight ends, done at quarterback, done at tight end. Now I'm completely free to draft, running backs and wide receivers rest of the draft. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Super useful, definitely. Like I said, when we were talking, I just was using the website. I was just on the Spike Week website, and then I'd be bouncing back and forth, which is obviously a pain in the ass. This is much, much easier. So definitely took me an entire draft to make sense of it. Yeah. No, that's fair. I used this tool last year over the entire Best Ball Mania season and didn't use that. I was just bouncing between the website and this. So this is way easier. So yeah, appreciate that. Definitely appreciate the shout on that. Not gonna lie, when you're telling me on the stream the other day, I had no idea what you're babbling about. No idea. But yeah, I knew it would make sense if I just dug into it more, which I did, and does make sense. So there you go. Um, what are we doing here? Let's keep an eye on this one. So I know Champ X3, Champ times 3. I know he's in the chat. That's Stephen Haynes, right? Haynes, I believe. Let's keep an eye on that one. Yeah, you can't find exact pairings of if I have both these players, do I have on? Yeah, exactly. If you want to break it down more, then yeah, you got to go to the site. But either way, it's good on the fly while you're drafting tool to make sure you fill some gaps. So I like that a lot. Darnell, I'm not huge on at this ADP. I really, I would be okay drafting Darnell Mooney. I don't like this ADP at all, but I get it because the range he's in. Like even Bateman, I'm like, yeah, even though he's like 9 touchdowns, looked really good. Keon Coleman, I am clicking. Obviously, he's, plays for a good offense, plays with a good quarterback, former early second round pick. I'm Rashid Shaheed. I'm not really drafting at all. Michael Pittman, a little bit, but not much. Mims, a little bit, but not much. Diggs, not at all. Keenan, a little bit, but not much, right? So this is a weird range of wide receivers, but I really don't like that for Darnell Mooney. I would rather wait for this range here where, Trey Harris absolutely is at the top of this list, my number 2 ranked, right? Where am I? Right here. I should have maybe just brought him up for Brian Robinson, actually, right there. Probably should have done that with Trey Smith. Yeah, that's a miss by me, but that's okay. I don't mind getting the Robinson share. And then Romeo Dobbs, I'm not really drafting. So I'd rather wait to the Quentin Johnston, Liggett, Wicks, maybe not Wicks, Kirk. Yeah, right around there. Coker. But either way. Let's bring in Jalen Royals. Yeah, get a rookie. I have some uniqueness. Let's bring in Jalen Royals. I'm trying to load up right now. I'm only at 15%, and I'd like to get that up to around 20. Heinz, like the ketchup. Yeah, nice. That's an interesting way to spell ketchup, but but yeah. Heinz, like the ketchup. There you go. Yeah, we're going to take a look at all the boys in the chat squads after this draft. But that one really piqued my interest already. So we'll definitely take a look at that one, dig into it. Where do we want to go here? So I get an extra pick at running back or wide receiver, and it'll probably be wide receiver. Yeah, it'll definitely be wide receiver. So I'll end up with 6, 2, 6, 9, 3. Will almost certainly be the structure. Let's bring in my number 3. I'm just going to load up on as much as I can right now of Jack Besh. 43% in the big board so far. I think I'm on draft 50 or something like that. So if I'm wrong, I have time to correct it. It won't show me how many entries I have, but I think I'm at about 50 and I think I have 100 left. So if I'm wrong, I can correct it And that's another thing, like we're saying earlier here, right here. He's a faller. People who like him already loaded up, right? So I'm going to load up on the guys that I like, right? So again, Jack Besh, Savion Williams, I'm super high on. I've got tons of exposure. Travion Henderson, I have tons of exposure, right? So I'm loaded up, but if I'm wrong or if something changes, then I can correct it and just stop drafting that player, right? And then it'll pull back to like by the end of the draft cycle or the end of the tournament, it'll be 20% or under, right? Which is not a big deal. So I really recommend in doing that. If you plan on maxing the tournament, load up when you think you have an edge and you think that the ADP is wrong, load up on it. Load up on that player, especially if you're only 50 drafts in, right? Load up on that. And then if you're wrong, if something changes, if there's an injury, maybe something happens at the combine, right? There can be injuries at the combine, happens all the time, right? Or injuries come up in the medicals, all kinds of things. So if, or you just, hype falls away, no one really cares about him. There's no hype around his name. He's not getting visits, whatever. Then you can adjust and stop drafting that guy. You can be wrong and then still end up being right in a sense. Always trying to catch up. I like that. Yeah. So that's kind of how I attack these early tournaments and these early big boards where if I still have a ton of bullets, which I do, I still have about 100 bullets in this tournament that I want to wait until the combine before I max enter this tournament. I want to have all the information. I don't think I'm going to lose too much value or ADP movement, at least not enough where it's going to matter for me, in my opinion. Take them off the board if the Falcons don't bring them in. Who's them? Like a wide receiver? Who's them? Savion goes. That's fine. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Who names some Falcons said they're using all 45 videos on defense. Isn't it 30? Top 30? Did they up it that I didn't know? Damian Martinez goes. It's a good click. I think we were talking about him the other day. You've been trying to load up. That's a guy, in your opinion, you're trying to load up on. I hear that. Do it. Absolutely do it. 17th round. Pick whoever you want. I don't want any of these running backs. Jalen Noel was who it was going to be over Tez Johnson. But if you're going to take Jalen Noel, then I'll take Tez Johnson, I guess. That's another guy, 34% in this tournament, 40% overall. I want to even those out, and then we'll see what happens. So let's bring in Tez. I got to save some bullets for after the combine. Only 38 left. Yeah, man, you probably should have saved a few more than that, but hopefully you were right. Some guys maxed it out already, which I just think that's really bad process. Like, you got to try to have some, you got to reserve yourself. You got to have some self-restraint. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I wanted to have about 100 and I'll have about 100 roughly. Let's call it 95, whatever. Then I'm not too worried about it. And I have about 20 little boards left. And then bigger board, I have 2. Biggest board, I have 2. So I'm waiting on, I'm keeping some bullets of everything. And I will be maxing out everything, but I'm keeping some bullets for after the draft. So yeah, making sure that I keep some bullets for after the draft. No question about it. Hmm. Interesting. Let's bring in. It's obviously either wide receiver or running back. That's all I'm doing. Lolsimo knew I was looking at Bashal Tootin. Let's bring in. Let's go LeQuint Allen. I want to get a little bit more. I'm at about 10% now, so I've definitely corrected that, which is about where I want to be. So I'm happy about that. That's about where I want to be on him. Yep, I'm all right with that. I don't think it's necessarily a bad process, but it's turning the variance knob to the max in a game that already has wicked variance. Yeah. I mean, if you just think that you're right, I don't hate the take. Like I don't hate it. So I really don't. Uncle Benji, were you in the early as well? Look at all these rookies I like. Going off. Jordan James, Bashal, LeQuint Allen, Jarquez Hunter, Damian Martinez all get pulled up. Hurt my feelings, guys. That's all right. Yeah, it's you can't get your guys in the stream drafts, but that's all right. I got some of the guys I like. Yeah, I agree. It's not necessarily a bad process, but you got to be you have to be more right. Like you have to be right on your takes. You really do. So, yeah, which again, I do think I am, but I'm loading up on the guys that I think I'm right on. So, and then if I'm wrong or if something changes, then I can adjust. And Jarquez is very interesting. I guarantee you, I'm higher on Jarquez Hunter than anyone else in the draft circles. Guarantee it. I've been talking about him for quite some time now. Watch his tape, and you'll see why I call him the pound for pound champ. So, the dude is not the biggest in the world, but he'll put guys on their ass. So, pound for pound champ of the draft, Jarquez Hunter. How much Jarquez do I have? I have what? Only 9% in this tournament. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I've fallen off. I haven't drafted him in a little while. 12% overall, 9% in Best Ball Mania. That was at 17% not that long ago. That's what I was going to say before I just looked. I was just going to say 17%, but it's fallen off. I've been drafting the LeQuint Allens of the world, and Damian Martinez has shot right way up there. I'm about 25% Damian Martinez. I got to start. And this is the other thing, I would have clicked Jarquez right here. But he's getting pulled up a little bit. Jordan James, I've been catching up on. Bashal, I've been catching up on. But Jarquez, I got to start clicking in the 20th round to get that exposure back up to. I want to be about 15% Jarquez before the combine and before everyone sees him run a 4.3. So, he's a guy around 10% as a lone late round flyer. Yeah, I want a little more. I want to be about 15% Jarquez. I'm only at about 10, as you just saw right now. And I want to bump that up for sure. I thought it was higher. Off the top of my head, I would have said it was higher. So that kind of is a little concerning, but I'm about the same at 11 and 10. At 11 overall and 10% in the big board. Yeah, pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. I want to be higher. I need to bump those rookie numbers up. That's for sure. Where do I want to go with my last rookie running back? I've been tempted to click some Jaden Blue, but I'm just not so sure I can get there. Given how convinced I am that he's going to be a part-time running back. Let's get a little more. I kind of want to click Brashard Smith. Let's get a little more Woody Marks in our lives. If I have him comp to Tony Pollard, then let's get a little more. That's what I've been saying to myself lately about Woody Marks. If I'm competent to Tony Pollard, then let's get a little more exposure in there. Let's get Marks, Woody Marks to about 8 to 10-ish, something like that. Let's do that. And then we'll wrap it up with a wide receiver. Doesn't have to be a rookie. With these 3, I think that helps. 2 rookie running backs, rookie tight end. Yeah, I got enough rookies. I definitely don't need to force it. And there's really no more rookie wide receivers that I like. I don't mind Ricky White, but I don't need to get any more than 11 and 11, 11% big board, 11% overall. That's good. That's fine. I don't need more than that. That's right where I want to be with Ricky White. And there's really no one else that's a rookie that I want to click. Nick Nash, yeah, a little bit, but I don't want to get too much more than that. Although maybe that would make some sense for this team. It's a free pick. I do want to be, even. Let's see if I can talk myself into it as far as uniqueness and exposure-wise. Yeah, let's bring in Nick Nash. Let's bring in Nick Nash to round it out. It's a free pick. Let's get fun. Damn you, Samo. 3 rounds in a row. You got the guy queued up. Yeah, he's definitely sniped me a couple times too on my rookies. This is the time to do it. I find myself right here a lot of times, or right around this spot in the draft, 15, 16, 17. I'm taking 3 rookies, usually Royals, Besh or Higgins, Tez, Knoll, right? Savion Williams. In the rounds 15, 16, and 17, almost wherever I am on the board, I'm taking 3 rookie wide receivers right here. And then, yeah, same thing, couple rookie running backs, and then whatever else I need to finish out my roster. That's just what I'm seeing from myself a lot. So, what's the odds on a second draft? Let's say 20 likes. If we have 20 likes on the live stream, we'll rip another one quick. And if we do that, then I'm not going to go over teams, except for X3, because I do want to see what he ended up with there. And I even liked it myself. So teams, except for X3. What are we at? 16 likes. We better pump it up quick. 17 likes. There's 50 people watching. Couple people on the Twitter machine. Jump in. I'm hot. I'm sweaty. We're a 2-hour episode already. If we get to 20, by the time I'm done reviewing X3's draft, I'll do another draft. But I got to be true to my word. 20 likes and we'll do it. If it doesn't happen, we got to call our quits. So let's take a look at X3 here. Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, and Derek Carr. You should have held off on Derek Carr. I would not have done that. There's really no point. There's no reason. You got 2 very quality quarterbacks stacked up, I know. So Derek Carr was unnecessary for sure. I would have gone anywhere else, and we'll see where, I think he should have went. Chuba, Pollard, Warren, Bigsby, Dowdle. You really like Dowdle too, don't you? That's an interesting one. We've drafted a few times. You dropped a few times on stream, and you've gotten Dowdle a lot. So that's interesting. Kareem Hunt, I wouldn't be picking either personally. I'm actually okay even with Dowdle that he was after ADP. I'm okay with all of this, just not Kareem Hunt. I don't even know if he lands on a team this year. So that could be a complete 0. I would way rather take a chance on any rookie. So I don't mind these 5, but I would have gone somewhere else there. I like the chase. I like McLaurin. I like bringing them up with Jaden Daniels. Darnell Mooney, Adam Thielen. I don't mind. That's way rich, though, to pull him up like that. That's quite rich. Alec Pierce, Yoshivas, Pairs with Burrow, I like that. Troy Franklin and Elijah Moore, I like that. Second last pick in the draft, that's nice. It's a lot of hit and miss, a lot of up and down. I like Chase, I like McLaurin. I can understand Mooney. I think that's a bit of a misclick. I'm okay with Pierce. I'm okay with Yoshivas. I'm okay with Franklin, and I really like the Elijah Moore. So, yeah, just Thielen there is a little off for me. Johnny Smith, Tucker Kraft, Zach Ertz pairs up with Jane Daniels. I like this. Yeah, I think you landed that plane okay, but I would have added another wide receiver for sure over Derek Carr. That's the easy, no questions asked, another wide receiver over Derek Carr. So other than that, it works. So definitely works. Slap the like. Got you 21, 22. Y'all are goddamn Patriots. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. That team will flex tight end a bit, which isn't bad. Yeah, that's true. A little bit, but I still would have went with another wide receiver over Derek Carr. So let's run another one. You guys got it there. I'm a man of my word. Let's rip another draft. We're doing a big board because I don't have enough bullets left. I only have 19 little boards, and I want to keep them all. So we're doing another big board. This is my 51st. Waiting on 11 so everyone can get in and steal all the EV from me and draft super teams, and I end up with the worst team I've drafted ever. So yeah, no worries, man. No worries. Absolutely. A guy like Adam Thielen is definitely not somebody you want to bring up the board, in my opinion. You got in the one before me, man. Trying to beat everybody in, and then you get in the wrong one. I made it super easy. There's 11 people. I tried. Time to multi-table. Yeah, well, you'll be getting free EV for me. So there you go. There's a plus, right? There's a plus for you. If there's a silver lining, there it is. Waiting on 3 more. 53 watching the stream. If you're watching on the X, the Twitter, jump on the YouTube machine, hit the old thumbs up for me, helps me out. If you like the content, you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Tomorrow night, we're on Best Ball Barbecue with PPR Tyler. That'll be fun. That'll be a fun stream for sure. And then we'll be back probably Friday. Yeah, probably be back Friday night. And we'll do the exposure talk. We'll rip a draft, but we'll do the exposure talk on Friday. And then one day on the weekend, I might be moonlighting on another channel on the weekend. I'm not 100% on that, so we'll see. And then we'll take it from there. So either way, I'll be doing one day on the weekend on my channel, hopefully on another channel the other day on the weekend, and we'll have some fun. We'll keep it rolling until the NFL draft. Hopefully some more stuff comes out, some more fun, some more clarity is what we could really use, especially at the quarterback position. Yeah, especially at the Matthew Stafford situation, even the Aaron Rodgers stuff. So free agency will be really fun. I can't wait for that. Even though there's not, the only thing that's really interesting for the free agency cycle or side of things will be the quarterback position, really. And it should be a bit before free agency. Realistically, it's like the start of the new year, like mid-March, March 15th, right around there. We're going to know a lot. We're going to know a lot around March 15th. March 12th is a big day, right? Some of the deadlines are before that, after that, right around there, right? So we're going to know, we're going to have a lot of information by mid-March. So that'll be good. Ben gets the Influencer 101. There you go. Who Hames in the 3, Losimo in the 5, Mr. Mufasa in the 6. I'm sitting there at 7. We got Champ X in the 12, bringing up the turn. We got some goat horns, J Puppy. This should be a tough draft as well. One lonely badgeless. The $1 million sleeper. Is that his name? $1 million sleeper. Hanging out at the 11 spot. If you're in the chat and you're not making yourself known, that's all right. Promise you won't snipe me. I don't believe you. You're a good drafter. I'm sure you'll take a guy for me or two that I'm looking for, but as long as we don't do it to each other on purpose, right? Kramer 222. Appreciate you coming in. You're at the 8. I think you're new to the channel. Thanks for coming in. This is gonna be a super stream heavy draft. Yeah, absolutely. I think so too. I honestly took Neighbors and tried to get Stafford with him. I don't think that's the way to go. I don't think he goes to New York at all. I think the Raiders, there's some legitimate, there's some legitimacy to that, to the Raiders. That's a possibility because it's so close. It's like a half-hour flight. Like, he doesn't have to move. He could just literally get a condo in Vegas somewhere, right on the Strip, and then literally just leave his kids where they're at, go to school. He can go back and forth. Easy peasy. So I think that's the most realistic. But I still think he stays at the Rams. I will take Bijan at 7. Yeah, I will absolutely take Bijan at 7. No doubt. I'll take that. Gonna be a fun one. Game God 513. Oh, that's not the only badges. There we go. We got badges. That's all right. Thanks for coming out, man. Appreciate it. First time I seen you in the chat there. Appreciate that. I take CD at the 2 as well. So I like that pick. I like that pick a lot. I have him ranked number 2 behind Chase. So I like that pick. I do that. I do that too. I dig it. I'm just trying to build both sides out. Yeah, I get that. I don't do it personally unless I think it's like I am doing that a little bit. And if you're doing it a little bit here and there, then whatever. Regardless, Matthew Stafford's going to be a starter, and regardless, Neighbors is going to be good. And Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers are going to be good. Like, they're fine clicks regardless. So realistically, I get it. What's the risk, really? And I'm doing it a tiny bit with Kirk Cousins to the Jets with Garrett Wilson a little bit. I have 2 or 3 shares of that. So if it happens, cool. I'm ahead of the game and I'm a little bit unique there. But if it's something that I just really don't think at all that it's possible, like this ass clown that came out on Twitter that's saying Gronkowski's making a comeback. Holy man. That was something else, man. You are just an absolute clown shoe, man. You should really be embarrassed of yourself if you're saying that kind of nonsense. At least that's how I felt about it. The clickbaitiest bullshit I've ever seen in my life. And just kind of makes me angry when you see that sort of thing, if I'm being honest. Just really dumb. Let's do something different. Let's go RBRB here. Let's do that. Let's get a little different. Is that hard to get? Not necessarily. It's probably a tiny bit unique. Bijan, Jonathan Taylor. It's unique for me, so that's good, but that's got to be a little bit unique. JT usually goes by pick, 20. So it's definitely doable, but ADP of 3 for Bijan, even that's doable, but yeah, I don't mind that. Gronk is the same age as Kelsey. Yeah, but he's got 10,000 more miles on him football-wise. And Kelsey's clearly lost some steps, not just a step. He's lost a few steps. I think we can all agree on that. And Gronkowski's been out the game for like, what, 3 years now? He's not coming back. I didn't need to see confirmation from Rob Gronkowski to know that that was bullshit. So, yeah, I just thought the guy was a complete ass clown for saying that. Just utter nonsense. At least that's how I felt about it. Maybe I'm overreacting. It's entirely possible that I'm making a big deal about nothing. I think this makes sense to bring in Josh Allen here. I want a little more exposure, but I think it makes sense because I'm going to be light at wide receiver, and you already know that. So let's try to get ahead of the game at quarterback. If I'm already ahead of the game at running back, let's try to be really good at two positions here. I got cleaned out at wide receiver here and running back realistically, so that's fine. If one of these guys fell, I would have taken any of these guys. I would have taken T. Higgins and I have 0% or 1% or something, but I would have taken T. Higgins there if he was still there. Since no one does, yeah, let's just get comfortable at quarterback. And then I'm going to have to probably kill wide receiver with volume, most likely. This could end up, or no, probably not. I'll definitely get a wide receiver with my next pick. So it's still, I think maximum I'll have 5 running backs in this team, probably, as we sit right now. But we'll see where it lands. Anybody getting out of line? Anything getting interesting? I like that. I like that. I like that. Unique. It's definitely different, but not exactly for me. Yeah, Barkley at the 5. Sure, I'll take him. Ladd and JSN. Yeah, I like that. Like that start. I like that start. Everybody's got a good start for the most part. Don't mind that. Don't mind that. That works. That's good. That works. Yeah. ABC drafting. I definitely don't mind it. Nobody's getting out of line. Everybody's a lot of interesting starts, a lot of different things, which makes sense when like CD gets brought up, although I'm completely fine with that. And then technically Jefferson gets brought up a little bit, a few picks ADP wise. Puka gets brought up a fair amount. Barkley drops, Gibbs and Bijan drop, right? So that creates some uniqueness there. So yeah, it's a little interesting, a little different. Like look at my percentages, 0% matched up, 0%, 0, right? So that this is definitely going to be unique regardless of anything. Let's do, it's got to be Devontae Smith here. I'm Devontae Smith over Jameson Williams every time for the most part. Yeah. Keep it simple, stupid. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bijan, JT Allen, pretty sick. Yeah, that's a good start. That's definitely unique. That's definitely a little different. I might have to kill wide receiver with volume. Tight end, you can always get there, realistically. Tight end, you can always make it work. I'm going to have to be like selective with my wide receivers and make sure. I'm probably going to have to get some high volume or high floors towards the end of the draft. We'll see. We'll see where that lands, but that's what I'm anticipating when you start something like this, is you're going to have to get those like Wandales and, Wandale Robinson. I don't know off the top of my head. Who are we thinking? A nice thing would be like a super, 15 pick ADP discount on Thielen or something like that would be nice. But yeah, Wandale, maybe Yoshi Voss, maybe Demario Douglas, something like that. I think is what is going to call for in this draft. But we'll see. We will see. Jordan Addison, I'm just not super high on. I really would like him to fall. Do I want to get really freaky? I think I do. I'm going to do that, but I'm going to go with Hampton here. I would rather pick Kenny Walker here, but I really want to get more exposure to Hampton. Plus, it's a little more unique to me, which it obviously would have to be considering my exposure. So I'm really going to try to fill out this running back room and then just piss yellow for like the rest of the draft. That's probably my strategy on this one, which you kind of back yourself into when you start RB and then bring in quarterback. You kind of force, and with this range, like I talked about in the previous draft, right? This range of wide receiver, even Addison, like I'm just not a big JJ McCarthy guy. If they bring back, Darnold, then I could be talked into some more Jordan Addison for sure. But, and if he falls to me at pick 66, which I exceptionally highly doubt, I'll take him. But, yeah, I just think that this is the juicy running back range, which makes me take less of these wide receivers just organically, regardless. So, yeah, I know I'm going to be thin at wide receiver, so I'm going to have to kill it with volume, which is fine. That's fine. I think I can make that work. I think I can make that work. I mean, maybe I should have went Jameson Williams, then Laporta, but then that kind of forces me. It doesn't necessarily, but it kind of forces me to bring in Goff, which I don't want to do with Josh Allen, especially if I know I'm going to have to hammer wide receiver. If I was more balanced, maybe that makes sense, but I don't think that makes sense in this instance. So, yeah, that makes me more happy that I took Devontae, I guess. RBs are starting to go a little bit. Samuel's expecting to be traded. That's something we haven't talked about yet. So, yeah, I think we all knew that. That was what I've been expecting. I think everybody's been expecting that. It's possible they just end up cutting him. You could borderline say that's the most likely scenario, is that they end up just cutting him. He's asked for a trade 2 seasons in a row. That's not a good look. I have 0% Trevion Henderson with Josh Allen. I don't like that. I don't necessarily like the rest of my exposure, but I do want this over 30% regardless. So let's just do it. I might be done at running back, or I bring one in with my last pick. But that was kind of my plan. Jaden Reed was on the table for me, but I'm okay. I'll make it work. There's enough value, in my opinion, towards the end of the draft at wide receiver, especially if I end up getting like 10, which I might have to do. That might be necessary. We'll see where it lands at tight end, but this is a pretty bully running back start, that's for sure, which I always want to make sure I get some of that in my portfolio. I really want some of this bully style running back room in my portfolio. I really do. I really, really do. So I'm okay with this. I'm happy with this, actually. And I think I can make it work. I really do. Holy cow, what a healthy RB room. Yeah, it's borderline aggressive. If we could combine our teams, yeah, a little Omaha. If we could combine our hands. Yeah, that would be a crazy good team. No running backs versus all running backs. Let's put them together. No quarterbacks, no tight ends. Yeah, this would be a league-winning team, no question about it. No question. But then when people are scrambling for running backs later in the draft, I'm going to be sitting back laughing, just hammering wide receiver. So it's going to be hopefully okay for me. Yeah, I'm a huge Omaha guy personally. Omaha Poker, if no one's aware, Texas Hold'em 2 cards, Omaha 4 cards. I love Omaha. Big Omaha fan. Big Omaha guy. Khalil Shakir just signed a extension. That's an easy click. Pair him with Josh Allen. Boom. Make it easy. Don't think about it. Just click it. I did a team earlier today where I had 4 RB by Trevion and just tacked one on at the end. Felt nice. Wide receiver kind of a mess, but it worked. Yeah, I think he can land the plane. I agree. That's what I'm going to have to do too. I'm probably going to, like I just said, I'm going to probably do the exact same thing. Maybe tack on a fifth, another rookie, or like Antonio Gibson or Audric Estime maybe, or whatever. Doesn't really matter. Just tack one on at the end that you like. That might be what I end up doing. And then, yeah, I'm going to probably try to, or just push tight end to the end of the draft too. We'll see. Running or quarterback doesn't matter anymore. So the other reason why I can do this and I feel comfortable with it, because I have Josh Allen. So I can bring in another quarterback and it doesn't really matter who it is. I can just bring in another one. Yeah, cool, sure. That's fun. And then it'll be fine. So as long as it's not like, Shitter Sanders or something like that, or Geno Smith, Omaha it can cost you a lot of money. I like Omaha tournaments a lot the most. Omaha poker tournaments are my favorite. Finished third in a decent sized one quite a while ago now, but it was a decent sized one. Nothing crazy, few grand. That was nice, but Omaha tournaments are the cat's pajamas. If you ask me. This is a weird range now, though. This is a very weird range where it's like quarterback land, running back land, which I really don't want to live there right now. Yeah, I don't want to live in running back world right this second. I don't know if I want to go Josh Downs with Jonathan Taylor. I need more exposure, that's for sure, but I don't know if that's something I want to do. I would have probably went Cooper Kupp just on the outside chance that he goes to the Bills. Let's just bring in Mark Andrews here and try to get ahead of tight end. Yeah. Yeah, it's either like Downs or Andrews there where it makes the most sense, unless I want to take a running back, which again, I just don't want to do. I could have taken Bo Nix there, I guess, but I don't want to sink in that capital. So really, like Mark Andrews is kind of the only click there that really made sense, in my opinion. Yeah, might be. I think it'll be at least 10 wide receivers, most likely. We'll see. Depends on where I land on tight end. But yeah, and then we're coming up on another running back range, which is really an interesting spot to be in. Huh. Ben got sniped on Caleb. That's unfortunate. 3 quarterbacks. Yeah, I can't get behind that. When you got 3 quarterbacks by the 8th round, can't get behind that. Wanted to pair up Caleb with DJ Moore, obviously. That's fair. Can't get behind that. Pairs Rashee Rice with Patrick Mahomes, Burrow with T, and then naked Caleb. Maybe brings in Komet, I suppose, but I can't get behind 3 quarterbacks before the 9th round. Just can't do it personally. I mean, we're seeing a lot of that, and I get the thought process of I want 3 quarterbacks in the playoffs and that sort of conversation. I can understand where you're coming from there, but is it necessary? I don't think that it is. I don't think that it is. Man, I really don't want to take a running back here, but I'm not being left with much of a choice. Let's just do Coleman. Pair him up with Josh Allen. And then we'll see where we're at. Then we'll see where we're at. Yeah. Agree. Definitely agree. Definitely agree. But it did work out for me because I have Josh Allen. So that gave me like an out, I guess. I pulled him up, which kind of sucks, but at least it gave me somewhat of an out. If I didn't have the, I guess if I didn't have Josh Allen, I could have pulled up Coleman either way. And I suppose if you like, Bateman or Mims or Rashid or, if I didn't have Bijan, I probably would have clicked Darnell Mooney there. That would have made some sense, but that's all right. We'll figure it out. Like I'm still not worried at all. I'm really not concerned. I don't hate the idea of like finishing up some rooms, but I don't know. Not too worried about it just yet. Not too concerned just quite yet. If he's going to fall into my lap here, no, it's Trey Harris. Yeah, let's bring up Trey Harris. That's way too easy of a click. Got to do it. Should have done it last draft. Let's bring him up. Yeah, that makes too much sense. Yeah, you're not wrong. I definitely agree with that. I agree with that. And Huhames is going to take Caleb with his Odunze. Yeah, that's fair. So you both got sniped. Ouch. Double whammy. Double whammy. That's the risk you run bringing up DJ Moore. Because if DJ Moore is here, Odunze is on this side of you, right? So, yeah, unless, like you take Odunze instead of Chris Olave here, then you can, but I mean, you still would have got sniped probably. So, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, no, that makes sense. These drafted commentary is great. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. I appreciate that. I really do. Hopefully, if anybody gets anything out of it, I hope it helps your draft strategy. Don't take what I have to say as gospel either. Do your own thing. You're doing a little zero wide receiver thing over here too. More so than me. That's going to be a tough hole to get out of. Like I'm in pretty deep with 4 wide receivers by round 10, 2 wide receivers by round 10. That's going to be tough to get out of that wide receiver hole. Man, this guy's sniping everybody in this draft. What's this? Takes Dalton Kincaid on me. Brings up Dalton Kincaid. Why? Come on, man. This guy watching the stream just sniping everybody for something to do. It's not very nice. That is not very nice, sir. Let's bring in Xavier because Kincaid isn't there. That sucks. Yeah, I feel like he kind of is doing some stuff too. Let's look at it. Let's take a look at his squad here. What's going on here? V louder. It's really annoying. All that keeps moving away. Tucker Craft, I guess. It's a weird way to build your team. 3-3-3-2. That's balance, I guess. I can't quite get behind what we're doing here, but yeah, maybe just trolling a little bit. I mean, takes Burrow with T, I guess. Takes Mahomes with Rice, but then just naked Caleb for no good reason. Brings up Dalton Kincaid for no real good reason that I can see. Yeah, okay, whatever. Brings up Hookah, and then I don't know. Maybe he's gonna do the old Giants thing. And then, or no, he can't. He's got 3 quarterbacks already. I don't know. I'm not sure what this guy's doing, but yeah, there you go. Whatever. He's clicking buttons. He's clicking buttons. Yeah, no doubt. Must be going for the famous, yeah, the infamous 5x5. Yeah. Yeah, I can't get on board with much of what's going on there in the four hole here. And then he's just gone away from wide receiver since the 5th round, hey? That's living. Living your best life. Do your thing. Do what you got to do. What do I want to do? Definitely don't want to look at wide receiver right now. Colston Loveland, Travis Hunter looking okay. Anthony Richardson, I'm not sure I like it with the Jonathan Taylor there. Running backs on the table. At least I'm still double stacked with my Buffalo with Shakir and Coleman. That's nice. I don't need Kincaid. I would have taken him though. But let's just do Bryce Young. I think he pairs up nicely with Josh Allen. That's something that makes a lot of sense to me. So let's do it. It definitely like decreases the risk with, Bryce Young just falling back to being hot garbage. And then I can still be comfortable being done at 2. So let's do that. Paired him up with Xavier Leggett. Some other backstack options with Bryce Young. Let's do that. My running back room is solid and done. I actually feel relatively comfortable with my wide receiver room. I obviously still need to throw some volume at it, but yeah. Geez, really? Crazy. With a 5.55. That's nuts. That's nuts. What kind of stones do you have going on that day to build that lineup? that's wild. That's a wild one. Yeah, at this point in the draft, no matter what happens, I'm not bringing another quarterback, so I can get rid of that. No matter what happens, no matter who's there, there's no quarterback that would make me want to click their name. So that's fine. Ingram's an interesting one. 3-3-4-3. Interesting. I might have gone Ingram, but still probably not. I'm not too worried about that. I don't think I want Coker. I probably would have clicked Ferguson there for sure, but that's okay. I guess you just close your eyes and click Hollywood Brown here. No, I don't have to. Let's do Jalen Wright. I'm still trying to get my my exposure up on him. Not sure I needed it on this team, but now I'm done. Definitely done at running back. I don't care who falls anywhere. I'm done there. So that's good. I'm happy to clear up some rooms. Yeah, definitely. That's why I had to go Bryce Young where I got him, bring him up a couple picks, nothing major, but again, that's why I'm happy I got Josh Allen early, because if I'm going with the dual kind of running back like that, yeah, like I said earlier, like that's why I clicked Josh Allen, because then I'm strong at quarterback no matter what, and I'm strong at running back. So, and even with the Mark Andrews start, I'll be fine at tight end regardless. If I bring in two more, which I will. Obviously, my wide receiver room is going to be thin. We know that, but I can kill it with volume, I think. And if I get some quality rookies, whatever, then I can make this work. So that's the plan. And now I am done at quarterback and I am done at running back, no matter what. I'm not even going to have it open. I'm not even going to look. Yeah, double tap, get him on the squad. I'm not even going to look. I don't even care. Don't care who the options are. I'm not picking a quarterback or a running back, period. Then it's just who do I take at wide receiver, tight end. So what does that make me? 2, so 7, 13, 10. So that leaves me, 10 wide receivers. 2, 5, 10, 3 is going to be my build, which is cool. That's different. I like that. It's kind of what you have to do if you're doing this start that I did. Yeah. I probably would have clicked Coker just if he was still there. I probably just would have taken him around after ADP. But let's bring in the Muth, Frarmuth. Only because I'm good on my Xavier Restrepo. I've got a lot of Xavier Restrepo. My bags are pretty packed with Xavier Restrepo. So let's do that. Kramer shut down the Green Bay triple. It's not very nice. But he also got sniped, Tucker Kraft got taken there. You had to take him over Najee. The only way you would have got him. But I assume you got Jaden Reed. Yep. And then Wicks got stolen on you. Dobbs. I'm worried about Dobbs. I'm worried about Dobbs even being on this team. Is what I'm a little concerned about. Plus his concussions issue, his conky issues are just scary. Game God sniping Ben on some quarterbacks. Got some sweet value on Bo Nix. That's nice. That's really nice. And then brought it back with Mims. I dig it. Tyler Warren. Yeah. Game God. I like that. You didn't take a falling Dak wherever he was. Let's get back into the room here and make our pick. Dobbs scares me. Really want to add Wicks. Yeah, no, that's definitely fair. I'm really nervous about Romeo Dobbs. I'm like it's the concussion issues and the asking for a trade. They could definitely I think they probably cut him, if I'm being honest. I think they might just save the dollars and get rid of him. I wouldn't be shocked at all with that happening. Do I want some floor? Let's bring in Yoshivas. That's what I expected I would have to do, and here we are. So let's get that higher floor type of wide receiver, little veteran. We'll see what happens with T. Higgins. Tweeted out a blue cap. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know. Abdul Carter news. What Abdul Carter news? Whoa, breaking Abdul Carter news. What happened? Is anyone clicking Amari? I am not clicking Amari Cooper personally. Might need foot surgery. Oh, wow. Fell asleep on the Dak pick. Yeah, that'll happen. Yeah, falling Dak and you had CD. I was surprised. I don't know why. I don't know why you didn't take him. He fell like 2 rounds or something silly. I would have just taken him from where he was. Yeah, I was gonna click him right here over Bryce Young if I, could have got him. I guess you would have taken him right at ADP, so that's fine. But yeah, I wouldn't say he fell asleep necessarily. You would have taken him right at his ADP. So, but down here he definitely fell. I was thinking about taking him here, but if he fell to me here, I would have taken him over Bryce Young and just said, "Don't worry about I'm not too worried about correlation." Yeah, Game God squad looks really nice. I agree with that one. That's for sure. Definitely made it work. But that's interesting with Abdul Carter. I'll have to dig into that. That's for sure. That's really interesting. He was my number 1 pick for sure. I mean, he still could be like, even if he does need surgery, he could still be the number 1 pick. Like, I don't think that takes him off the board. That's for sure. Unless it's something really concerning or serious, But yeah, that's interesting. You would think they would have caught that sooner. Shefty just tweeted it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe he doesn't want to go to Tennessee, but I don't think he really cares or has a choice. Obviously, he doesn't have a choice, but we'll bring in Jatavian Sanders, pair him up with Bryce Young, double stack him up, finish out our tight end route, and now we can just piss yellow for the rest of the draft. So that's cool. I don't think that's it. What's his name? Was it Jeffrey Simmons, I think, that came out and tweeted his support for drafting Abdul Carter. So getting that kind of love, I think that feels nice. So I don't think that would be it. Yeah, I'm assuming it would be his combine medical too. That's what we are talking about earlier in the stream, right? A lot of these, there's gonna be some combine medicals that come back with red flags. Some guys might need surgery, whatever. Like, they go through these guys with a fine-tooth comb. Like, that's where things like, unfortunately or fortunately, cancer gets found sometimes. That happened to Foster Moreau, that happened to John Mechie, right? Like, all kinds of things that can come up in these combine medicals, where obviously it's like a good thing at the end of the day that they found it, obviously. But it obviously kills their, I hate to look at it or say it like that, but it kills their draft value, and yeah, potential careers and stuff like that. I'm not trying to sound horrible or, disgusting, but you know what I mean? So yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. That's something to keep an eye on for sure. And we'll have to kind of dig into that a little bit. I'm loaded up to the tits over here with Jack Besh, but how do I not take him? Right over past ADP? Yeah. If I can do that, I will. And I need wide receivers, obviously, and I actually need rookie wide receivers. So there we go. That works for everyone. Abdul Carter. I'll have to look at that tweet. What do you mean by might need surgery? Like, either you need surgery or you don't, And if it's something like that, you might as well just get it before your career starts. But then you get a slow start and you have a weak rookie year, but then you can come on stronger second season. That's an interesting one. Hmm. Hmm. I mean, they might just like him enough to pick him anyways. I don't think that takes him out of the running for first overall. I really don't. Even if he does need surgery, even if he gets surgery and he's going to miss the first half of his rookie season, does that really matter for a team like the Titans? I don't think so. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. Either way, I don't think that they're going to pick a quarterback regardless. So yeah, now it basically becomes, I guess, Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. That's what it was already. So I don't know. That's an interesting one. I'll have to dig into that. Obviously, I'll take a look into that. We'll dig into that, see how that works out. But yeah, we shall see. Yeah, I say you just get it. Like, his options are preemptive surgery. He'll be 8 weeks with the screw in his foot, or can skip surgery and prove he doesn't need it. Then he'll have to get the screw out. Typically, maybe it stays in. I don't know. I'm not sure what the surgery is. I'll have to dig into that for sure. But yeah, that's an interesting one. If I'm him and it's like it could be a long-term thing, just get it done. Just get it done. Get the surgery. Get cleaned up. Get fixed up, and then start your career. That's what I would do if it were me. Because then regardless now, he's not working out at all. He's not working out at the combine already, and then he's not going to do his pro day, regardless of if he gets surgery or doesn't. So you're not going to get any testing numbers. You're going to have to go completely off of tape, which it was really, really good. It was a good tape. So, that's the encouraging part, but I don't know. Regardless, again, I don't think this takes him out of the running for first overall. I really don't. If you're that guy, then you're still that guy. This is a long game. It's a long-term thing. It's not you're not putting a Band-Aid, at least you shouldn't. Let's just bring in Tez, get another rookie in here. Savion goes, Jalen Noel goes. I'll take the last rookie in my book that I'm willing to take. So, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'll have to dig into that. I don't have Shefty's tweets on sending me notifications. I only have Rappaport. I don't think I need both realistically, but Rappaport's asleep at the wheel. So, obviously, Shefty got it first. Whatever. I'm sure there's something being brewed up right now as we speak by the old, and there it is. Literally just came through. Ian Rappaport. Potential stress reaction in his right foot. What does that mean? Stress reaction. And he may have surgery. Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure what a stress reaction means. I'm not sure what is that like? No, it's not tightrope. Tightrope's in the shin, I believe, right? Lost all respect for Shefty when the JPP thing happened. I'm not really sure what that was. I'm not sure what he tweeted in the JPP thing. I'm assuming it's when he lost his fingers, the fireworks incident on 4th of July. I would imagine that's what you're talking about. I don't remember that tweet or know exactly what you're talking about, but I'm just not the biggest Shefty guy. Ian Rappaport's a bit of a goof, but he's good. He's accurate, So, and I don't need 6 different, sources blowing up my phone. So I just have Rappaport turned on because you'll get the info. I have 2 more wide receivers. Let's bring in Elijah Moore. Yeah, a little bit of uniqueness. Nothing with Bijan, so that's cool. Nothing with Shakir. Nothing with Josh Allen. There we go. That's perfect. Buffalo's a landing spot potentially for Elijah Moore as well. So let's bring him in. Oh, rude. Medical record's supposed to be sealed and he leaked it. Okay. Yeah. Either way, yeah, I'm just not a big Shefty guy, if I'm being honest. I'm just really not a big Shefty guy. He's kind of just, I don't know. He's kind of just, yeah, boring. He's a little just too boring for me. Not that Rappaport's super exciting, but I don't know. 1, can have surgery. 2, work out his pro day and show teams he doesn't need it. Who's his agent? Drew Rosenhaus? Drew Rosenhaus is his agent. Mixed opinions. Go see the best foot guy in the business. Figure out if it makes sense long term. Where I'm sitting right this second, I'd probably say do it. I'd probably say just get the surgery, get it done. Get it cleaned up, get it wrapped up. What's the worst that can happen? You fall to pick 3 in this draft? Yeah. He is kind of like that. He's got a pretty punchable face. Yeah, personality-wise, like Chef. Yeah, he does. He does get the scoops, but so does Rappaport. Like, again, I just don't want more than one. I don't need more than one good source guy. They're both good source guys, so pick whichever one. It doesn't really matter. Like, they'll both get it eventually. One might have it before the other, but eventually it'll come out. So I have notifications for Rappaport turned on, so anything that happens, he tweets out. I get the tweet. That's all I want. That's all I need. I'm not too worried about it. But this is an interesting one. I say from where I'm sitting right this second, I need to look more into it, obviously, but I would say just get the surgery and get it wrapped up and take it from there. I'm going to bring in, it's either Calvin Austin or Trey Tucker. And doesn't really particularly matter who I take, but let's say Trey Tucker because he plays in a Chip Kelly offense. So let's do that. He's going to be on this team. Not particularly likely to be replaced in what I think he would do in the Chip Kelly offense. So let's leave it there. We're going to quickly go over these teams because I'm getting tuckered out, boys. Cam Ward, Stafford, Carr, Dart. Yeah, kill with volume. Couple vets, couple rookies. That'll work. Ramondre, Swift. We're doing Ben Haskell's team. Man, hurry up and end. Ramondre, Swift, Devin Neal, Rashad White, Bashal Toon. So Swift's an interesting one. Got some value there. The only way he's not going to be on Chicago is if he gets traded. He's not getting cut. Contract just won't allow it. The only way he won't be on Chicago is if he gets traded. And who's trading for DeAndre Swift? I don't know. So I would fully expect him to be on the team, if I'm being honest. Neal, Rashad White, Bashal Toon. I like that. That'll work. Jamar Chase, DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, Olave. I might have gone Odunze over Olave, and then you could have had a good shot at Caleb. But now that we know he got taken anyways, whatever. Luther Burden, Ridley, Pittman, Whittington. That'll work. That'll play. I like the top heavy. That's good. Trey McBride, Noah Gray. I'm going to assume you picked a last round rookie. Bring another rookie running back. Yeah, sure. That'll work. That will work. Game God. I liked your squad. That's for sure. Bo Nix, Anthony Richardson, Justin Fields. I like this. I do this a lot myself where I bring in the 2 rushing later quarterbacks that you don't really know. Richardson is on the team. Justin Fields, we're not sure, but they're going to have that rushing upside. So I like a room like this. I've done a lot of this sort of thing. I dig that. Bucky Irving, I don't like Joe Mixon at all, but I understand the click. Dylan Sampson, Isaac Guerrero, Nick Chubb, I'm not clicking at all. Jordan James, I like. Gibson, I like. I'm not clicking Chubb whatsoever. I just don't believe he's going to be on a team. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but I'm not clicking him. This will definitely play. That works. CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Ricky Pearsall, Jalen McMillan, Mims, Bateman, Franklin, Vele with triple stacked Bo Nix. I don't mind that. That'll work. You kind of hope Warren doesn't end up on the Broncos, because then he would deem a couple of these guys probably a little obsolete. He would eat into Mims, and then that would probably kill Vele's value completely. So with this squad, you're probably hoping Warren doesn't go to the Broncos. But this will all work. I dig it. That's a couple misclicks at the wide receiver or running back this is a misclick in my opinion. But other than that, I'd be pretty happy with that squad. That's for sure. Who Hames, Jared Goff, Tua Tagovailoa, JJ McCarthy. Yeah, that'll work out. Breece Hall, Caleb Johnson, Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, just locking up the the Tennessee. I don't mind that at all. Ray Davis, Shipley's probably the running back 2 there. So this will play. Works out for my books. Justin Jefferson pairs up. Tua pairs up. Jameson pairs up. I like that. Roma Dunze, Emeka Abuka, my number 1. Xavier Restrepo, my number 7. I dig it. Another Miami, another Minnesota. Geez, that'll work. Single stack, that's fine. And then Goddard, Fan, and Ertz, that'll work. Quality team. Everyone's just got a quality squad. Losimo, Brock Purdy, Herbert, Geno Smith. Yeah, that'll work. Barkley, Judkins, Scatabo, Algier, Giddens, Martinez, LeQuint Allen. Yeah, that'll work. I'm all right with that. McConkey, JSN, Ted McMillan, Devontae Adams, Juwan Jennings. This will play. This is just textbook. It's just quality drafting across the board for everyone. Colston, Ferguson, Disley pairs up with Herbert. Yeah, stacked up. Geno stacked up. San Francisco. That'll play. Everyone's just stayed in their lane. I dig it. Mr. Mufasa, Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love. I like that. Stop at 2. I dig it. That works. Jahmyr Gibbs. Falling Chuba Hubbard. So I'm okay with that at 54 for sure. Falling Najee. I like that. Take Bigsby. Justice Hill. Sure. Yeah. Kendre. Sure. Yeah, that works. Everybody's looking pretty good. AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, Jaden Reed, Deebo Samuel, Josh Downs, getting some value. Double stack your Green Bay. Single stack your Hurts, but that's fine with the rushing quarterback. Jalen Royals, I like. Slayton works. Pitts, Kmet, Higbee, Fant. Yeah. Probably could have stopped at 3, but yeah, that's actually not the end of the world. That's pretty fine. That works. I'm all right with that. Yeah. Everyone's pretty straightforward. Kramer 222. We got Lamar Jackson, Stroud. I'm okay with stopping at 2. I like that. CMC, Kenny Walker, J.K. Dobbins. I'm pretty out on J.K. Dobbins at this price, but I get it. Trey Benson, I like. R.J. Harvey, Khalil Mullins is not for me, but I understand the click. That'll work. With the top 2, you get the flexibility, so I like that. Trey Benson, I like. Harvey's a touchdown machine. Nico with Stroud, Flowers with Lamar, Godwin, Ayuk. Yeah, Golden, Wicks. Get the high floor there to help out with some injury concern. Wicks, Savion, I like. Deontay, that's fine. I'm fine. I'm not clicking them, but that's all right. You can do it. Njoku, Otten, and Gesicki, I like it. Yeah, everybody's staying in their lane. making it work. Just making it work. No one's getting out of line. I like it. Champ X3, Daniels, May, Cousins. I'm all right with the 3. That's one where it's close because like May, I'm fine with pulling them up. There's nothing wrong with that. But second year, then you get the old dog, the old vet. I'm all right with that. That actually works. Achan, Kyron, David Montgomery, Warren, Eckler, Hunt. That works, except Hunt for me is just off my board personally. If he's not on yours, that's fine. But this definitely is okay. This definitely works. The top 4, I think Eckler's still got some value. So that works. That works for me. Daniels, May, Cousins. We got Jerry Jeudy. Could pair up with Cousins. You never know. Kirk could be on the move. Rashid Shaheed, I think, could be on the move, but we'll see. Got some discount there. Quentin Johnston, Amari Cooper, Alec Pierce, Demario Douglas pairs up with Drake May, so that's fine. Tough to get Washington stack wise. I probably would have brought in Luke McCaffrey somewhere. I would, instead of Chig, maybe bring in Luke McCaffrey, who probably still didn't even get drafted. Yeah, he's still there. So you're good at 2, I think. Bowers and Jonnu, I think, are fine. 2 tight ends before pick 100. I'm okay that you brought him up, but I probably would have stopped at 2. Bringing Luke McCaffrey to pair up with Daniels would have been okay. And to get more wide receiver depth, you got to kill that a little more than 8, in my opinion. Yeah, a little light on the wide receiver room. I would have brought in at least 1 more. I probably would have sacrificed Hunt and Chigakonkwo and brought in 10 wide receivers. That's kind of just what you have to do. I think you had 2 wide receivers before round 10. So you just got to crush it with volume. Free agent, potential free agent, right? So maybe you can get some back stacks with the quarterbacks. So yeah, there we go. Where are we at here? Where are we at in the chat? We'll catch up and then we'll get us out of here because everybody's tuckered out, I'd imagine. Where are we? Geez, a lot of chats. Appreciate that, guys. Right there. Stephen A's got a bit distracted last few picks. Grandkids got to take time for them. Absolutely. There you go, man. That's living. The grandkids are what it's all about. Just assuming Noah takes over KC tight end room this year for the team. Yeah. I don't hate that. Like, especially if you can pair him up late with Mahomes, which I've done with like Worthy, get a falling Mahomes, which happens all the time, and then get Noah Gray after ADP, hopefully with the Kelsey news, right? How to draft it. Like I felt light on RB. Yeah. I like Wiley too. I think he gets more involved, and I actually like Wiley a lot, but we'll see. It will be interesting to see how much he gets involved. I think he will be more involved, but we'll see. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, appreciate that. It's a long stream, 3-hour stream, long one. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate you all for coming in. Can Chubb pay off at that price if he just gets Gus Edwards? Yeah, I mean, it depends on where he goes, but health is obviously the biggest concern. I'm just not convinced that he's going to be able to stay healthy at all. Like, he's just taken some big time injuries at his age with the amount of carries he's had throughout his career. Like, I just don't see it personally. I think it's entirely on the table that he doesn't even end up on an NFL team this year, or he gets like the Dalvin Cook treatment, Zeke Elliott, that sort of thing. Like, I'm just not clicking him. Your boy Fannin at 190. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. That just kills Ben's soul, hey? Vila tried to get us to turn on each other, but we held strong. Yeah, he was trying to throw some wrinkles in there, but we kept it together as a team. Punted tight end, so volume. Yeah, that's fine. I think it works out. Like, that's okay with 4 there, I thought. And there's definitely everybody had a good team, I thought. So 30% Deontay. Wow, considering no one seems to want him on their team, that's a little risky. I don't know. He seems like a bit of a head case. He's getting there in age, 29 now. We'll see. if he can pull his head out of his ass and just play football, like, just put his head down, play football, we know he can do it. But, people are going to, you can only burn so many bridges, right? So got attacked with lost concentration. That's fair. That'll happen, man. That'll happen. Yeah, that's more fun than drafting. That's for sure. That's for sure. Absolutely. I'd have taken a flyer wide receiver over Hunt, but I like the team. Everyone's team. Yeah, I agree. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Mr. Schneid. Mr. Schneid's my dad. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, thanks for coming out, guys. Appreciate it. No, I'm not from Cincinnati. I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, of all places. I grew up in the Yukon of Canada. So no reason for me to be a Bengals fan. I just am. They chose me. I don't know. I've been a Bengals fan for over 20 years. So it is what it is. I'm a Bengals fan through and through. Don't ask me how or why. I just am. So 3-hour stream. Let's get out of here, guys. We'll leave it there. Tomorrow night, I'm on Best Ball Barbecue with PPR Tyler. So go check that out. Hit that like button for me. Hit that subscribe button for me. Appreciate it. 3-hour friggin' stream. My wife's going to be not too happy with me, but that's all right, But like I always say on Off the Schneid, as you know, if you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. Hopefully tonight, one of us were right and we bink this sucker. So we'll see you guys tomorrow night and then Friday night back here. So